success story.
Buckingham Palace says King Charles is in a private London hospital to undergo a corrective procedure for an enlarged prostate.
The 75-year-old king will be treated at the London clinic. Charles, who acceded to the throne 16 months ago, was diagnosed with a benign condition on January 17 after going for a checkup because he was experiencing symptoms. He canceled engagements and was urged to rest ahead of the procedure. The publicity around the king's surgery is seen as an opportunity to encourage other men to have their prostates checked in line with public health advice. Rika Ann Garcia, London.
The British government has called off trade talks with Canada after discussions broke down over disagreements relating to the import and export of beef and cheese. The two countries have been negotiating a new trade deal for the past 2 years now, ever since Britain fully left the European Union. News and analysis at townhall.com. An American chemistry professor creating something of a stir by suggesting that tea drinkers use a pinch of salt.
Michelle Francil is a chemistry professor at Bryn Mawr College in Pennsylvania. Her new book, Steeped, The Chemistry of Tea, published just this week, suggests drinking tea with a pinch of salt.
So it makes this cup of tea taste less bitter. It's kind of a rescue thing.
That's not sitting well with many tea drinkers across the pond. But to be good sports about it, these ladies in Manchester, England gave it a try during their traditional English afternoon tea.
No, I thought it would be worse.
Absolutely awful.
Yeah.
No, you can taste the salt.
I don't like salt.
All audio courtesy of ITN. I'm Donna Water.
Accused of spying, Wall Street Journal reporter Evan Gerskovich has been ordered by a Moscow court to remain in a Russian jail, at least through the end of March. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder, and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm, I'm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The abolition, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. Welcome to Mornings with Mike Winters. I am he. That would be me, Mike Winters. Happy Friday, everybody.
Yes.
Kind of overcast this morning. I saw
correct, sir.
7 spittlings of rain.
Yeah.
Hit my window on the way to work this morning.
Just a couple of drops.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Just enough to, like I say, wet the car and get it dirty.
Yeah, it was, and I'm pretty sure it was like 7. Mm-hmm. 7 full-on raindrops.
And then like 13 half drops. They couldn't commit.
But, yeah, so overcast this morning, but it is Friday.
That's right.
Happy Friday.
I woke up with no fog, no ice on my windshield. I was able to just get in my car and drive.
Yeah.
It's quite nice.
Kind of nice.
Although, I did have... It's one of those moments where you realize there's not very many people out there who probably are going through their house from room to room at like 10 till 6 in the morning looking for a plush lollipop. Like, it's definitely a me problem, right? There's not a lot of parents out there who are desperately searching for a plush right before the sun comes up.
I'm going to argue you are not alone.
It felt that way,
If
man.
it wasn't exactly the plush thing of which you speak, it is something very, very simple.
Like, if it was like a teddy bear or like a special blanket, like a whoopee or whatever, cool. I was looking for a plush lollipop, you know? It's the stuff that my kids are into. It's kind of weird.
Well,
it's also one of those things you have to explain to people because my daughter has a plush number 4, because it's one of the characters on the show that she watches. But other people just know that she's got a plush number 4, and it's odd. It's off-putting, you know?
But we're all like that as kids. We all had things when we were kids that were yours that you loved and held on to. And for no godly reason, everyone doesn't understand why.
Yeah.
We all, whether it's a blanket, the whoopee, or, you know, something. They're kids. It's, you know, what they do.
I used to know a girl who, on her keychain, this was years ago, on her keychain, she had a little piece of fabric, and it was her blanket from when she was a baby.
Yeah.
But it got worn down because she would, you know, for comfort, like she would rub on it.
I was when I was a kid, I was like a thumb sucker till way longer than a child should be. It was like, you know, my parents had to be like, stop it, you know, finally before it finally subdued. But yeah, I get it. I think it's just a comfort thing.
I don't think that very many people know her in this town. I feel like I can say this safely without catching any heat or ridicule. My sister's sucked her thumb her entire life. Like her, it's always been a thing. And honestly, she doesn't do it in public or like out there. But like when it's just us, when we're driving or something, you know, I'll look over and I'll notice that she's got the, you know, doing the thumb. And it's always been her thing. Yeah. You know, we all had our little ticks, our little things.
Well, and to be honest, when I was younger, I remember I was so salty and mad. Now I'm kind of like, I don't know what this does for me. But
well, in fairness, though, you also got a vape.
Yeah.
So that's your
version.
thumb. That's your thumb just kicks off mad clouds.
Yeah, I think that's different deep-seated issues than thumb sucking.
We all have our own oral fixations. But the thing is, the one thing I've noticed is that both my brother and I tend to stem or like you know, talk with our hands or move around a lot, especially like when we're talking. Like you'll notice I bounce when I talk, you know, or I'll move my hands. My sister's never had a stem like that. So that's basically her thing, and we just fill ours in with, you know, constant movement.
Right. Yeah. I remember rocking as a kid to get to sleep. Like again, it was sucking the thumb, and then
well, I'll still find like,
rocking
and
bed,
this is just us giving off all of our ticks. But I'll still like when I'm sitting over in your chair, I'll still find myself doing this. Like during interviews, I'll go back and watch and I'll notice like I am swiveling the entire time we're talking.
Yeah, it's just it's our mechanisms for being engrossed in the conversation.
I've gotten better. Yeah. What used to happen, thank God. Well, okay, I would say the reason is because of the cameras. Because when I used to work in a studio without cameras, my thing was this: I would take both my hands on my palm or my thighs, and I would do this. And that was like the only way I could get through breaks. And people would like, what's that sound? What's that rustling sound? It was me. So I've gotten better.
It was me.
Thanks, cameras. It was me.
By the way, two things. First thing first. I finally, a couple days ago, I forgot to mention, got through that Flower Moon movie.
Oh, yeah.
It's a good movie. I don't feel satisfied after watching that movie. Like you watch a 3+ hour movie, I feel like I should add some payday. I don't feel like I got it with that movie.
It insists upon itself.
Yeah.
I'll always quote that from Family Guy, who's talking about not liking Godfather.
Yeah.
Not a great movie. He's like, because it insists upon itself. Well, it's insistent.
And Scorsese movies, generally, you watch them, they're 3 hours, and you're like, dang, that was crazy ride, you know. This one didn't check those boxes for me. I just kind of watched it and I was like, what a sad story that, quite frankly, I really didn't like.
They had to stick to the anachronism though. Like they had to stay historic as historically accurate as they could.
They could, and sure that.
And the story just didn't have very.
I guess it's just the way they ended it. It just like you build this so much drama for 3 hours, and then just to have that kind of ending. To me, was like anticlimactic. It's like you built me up for 3 hours. Give me a better payoff.
My mind goes to, well, how do you think they felt? That's probably the intention of the director. He wants you to feel as hopeless as they felt and like unsatisfied, unfulfilled. You didn't get the payout you wanted. Neither did they. Yeah. And it almost feels apropos to the theme of the movie.
Well, I paid.
You didn't.
I did. I watched on Apple Plus, but in theory, I paid $5 a month to watch this thing.
Right.
I want paid off. But and I hate to bash on it because I love Scorsese movies. I mean, every one of his I get it. And this movie, in the scope of movies, is not a bad movie. It's a good movie, but I feel like it should not have been 3.5 hours. Like they should have edited this down so we didn't have to sit through 3.5 hours to get to that payday.
I feel like sometimes I feel like directors intentionally do that for Oscar reasons.
Well, and here's the thing.
They don't get taken seriously if they're not a 3-hour, epic.
Like Lincoln is a 3-hour movie, and we all know what's going to happen at the end of Lincoln.
It's true.
But
spoiler alert.
But I'm still watching it and engrossed, and when I watch it, I'm like, man, that was a good movie. Like, I know the murder mystery is going to end bad because you can crack open the internet and find out real quick.
Sure.
And so, okay, then give me a better payoff. So, because it literally just like, I got to be honest, it hit a certain point in the story and you're like, oh man, this is crazy. And then it went to like, well, they got arrested and here's what happened. And they went and did so-and-so did this. And so it was like they just, well, dang, this movie's already 3.5 hours. We got to put a bow on it. And so that it felt like they went to the highest high water mark of excitement and then just said, wow, that was crazy, huh? This is what happened to the rest of them.
Do you think that maybe the strike had something to do with it?
Maybe.
Like maybe all of a sudden this thing was coming up and they're like, we don't have time to really
give
this the finish that
could be possible. Maybe the movie is a victim of some of that. But I just, it's missing something. Like the ending and the story don't jive to me. They not the outcome of the ending, just how they present the ending. And so that's kind of, because the outcome's the outcome. It's a true story.
Right.
It's just the way it was presented to me seemed very lazy. Lazy is a good word for it, lazy. So anyway, if you're going to make me sit through that long of a movie, don't give me a lazy ending. That's maybe what I felt about
Fair
the
enough.
movie. So the other thing is, thank goodness it's Friday for McDonald's. Big thank you to the fine folks at McDonald's. They visit us. Well, they don't visit us.
We visit them, yes.
Every Friday and comes back with delicious McDonald's treats. I got my iced tea. Good to go. I have not nosed through the bag.
I have not nosed through the bag either.
I've not seen what breakfast sandwich fare we have. But swing on by any McDonald's. They got you covered. Don't forget to download that app and utilize it as your friend. And you too can have the debate on what is the greatest McDonald's sandwich, whether it's the sausage McMuffin with egg or my champion, the OG Egg McMuffin. So, or if you're a McGriddle person or a biscuit person, whatever, or you're like, nah, forget all that noise. I'm a big breakfast person. Yeah. That's what I'm about.
Now, I will say this. Best bite in breakfast, in my personal opinion, is a biscuit and gravy. That being said, there's a lot of very pretty, picturesque food at McDonald's, at all kinds of different places. Foods that you can be proud to post beautiful Instagram photos. And I say this to a few of my friends who have tried this and failed over the last several months. You cannot successfully take a pretty picture of biscuits and gravy. It is not going to happen. My friend is like, biscuits and gravy for breakfast, yum. I'm like, that's a pile of vomit. There's nothing appetizing looking about biscuits and gravy. It is the great breakfast.
You have to you can be done, but you got to have like Chef Ramsay types.
Yeah, you need like a sprig of mint on top
and
that you're just going to take off.
It turns into more of a visual thing than actually a functional piece of food.
Which is funny because Gordon Ramsay is known online for destroying the grilled cheese.
Yeah.
He tried to make like a fancy artisan grilled cheese over a fire.
I remember seeing that video clip.
And it was like this thick with like fat cuts of cheese that just wouldn't melt. And for like 20 minutes, he sat there trying to melt this thing.
By the way, they've got utilize McDonald's.
Yes, McDonald's, the app.
Download the app and everything else. Don't forget you get free rewards the first time you use it. So it definitely use that thing. And big thank you to McDonald's. But and I saw them in Walmart. They have a couple of these famous chefs have now put out like frozen food lines, and there's 3 different. Was it 3? There's Andrew Zimmerman.
Andrew Zimmern?
That guy. Zimmerman, the Bizarre Foods.
That's
guy.
Bizarre Foods. Okay.
Of course, Guy Fieri. Gordon Ramsay.
Okay.
And I feel like there's another one in there too. And they've got these little meals.
So like frozen meals?
Yes.
Okay. The only thing, Andrew Zimmern's have to have a like a bent of weird to him.
No, they don't. His don't. He's kind of stepped away from that. He kind of goes away from bizarre foods and now goes to cultural foods.
Yeah, he's doing the adventure series.
Yeah, he's kind of shifted his mantra.
As we've been exploring in my bag of Asian snacks, even the normal food over in those countries is still a little weird.
Yeah. Well, he's trying to sell stuff that you're actually going to buy in Walmart. So I'm sure he's going to leave that out. But my point was I tried 2 of the Gordon Ramsay ones just on a whim. I tried his fish and chips. I'm like, dude, he's British.
Right.
And then I tried his chicken pot pie.
Okay.
For frozen food fair.
Uh-huh.
One of the better frozen food fairs.
It just with fish and chips, unless you're air frying it.
That's what I did.
Okay.
That's that one you don't microwave. You actually he's got the potatoes and he's got the fish. You literally put it in the air fryer basket for 10 minutes, put it on a plate.
Does he include the newspaper to wrap it in?
No newspaper. And so it was decent. It was not, And then the chicken pot pie.
I got to ask though, how did you enjoy your fish and chips?
With tartar sauce and.
Oh, that's the wrong answer. The correct answer is salts and malts vinegars.
Oh, no, I didn't have the vinegars and all that handy. I just did the tartar sauce and ketchup. Sorry for the fries.
Dirty man.
I'm a savage.
Salts and malts vinegars.
Such an average savage. Average Savage. That's another good name.
Average Savage. I'm just saying, it's like tables in Canada. They have it right. They have salts and malts vinegars out on their tables. You got your dressed all over chips, your ketchup chips. They know flavor up there.
A little bit. One flavor.
Tart. We like a nice zing up in the Great White North.
Sorry. When your greatest culinary gift to the world is French fries with gravy on it, you're not in the culinary game. You're just not.
Here's the thing, it's so cold up there that they can't feel their fingers and toes. They need to feel something, so they like to feel the zing on their tongue.
Yeah, good. End of the day,
I'm just realizing my Canada or Canadian is not that far off from my spider. My name is Spidery.
Well, we all want to sound like Strange Brew. That's our official Canadian.
Yeah, exactly.
What was there? Canadians probably haven't said hoser in 50 years.
Right.
But every American, when they do a Canadian reference, is working hoser.
We're just like, ooh, show me your toque.
All right. I probably give you the rundown now. What I thought I didn't know what I did. I don't think it's going to happen, so I'm just going to leave that one alone.
So here's the thing. Sickness affects you in weird ways. I'm pretty sure that Mike had like a bout of fever writing.
Yeah.
And he wrote, we've tried all morning to figure out, to break it down. The only thing I thought got from it was Ben's House of Addiction.
Yeah. And but anyway, I had something on the schedule at 7 o'clock it was my handwriting. I don't remember when I wrote it, but I wrote it on there, and I was like, well, I don't know who this is, so we'll just see who shows up, and no one showed up, so I don't know what happened. But
I was hearing voices out there, but then I realized it's because Roy doesn't listen to this show.
Roy's fighting with himself in there. But So here's the rundown. We're going to play our Crystal Noble joined us in the 9 o'clock hour yesterday from the Humane Society. So we're going to play that here real quick in just a few. Bill Williams, Chaves County Manager, will join us next hour. Commission meeting met yesterday, County Commission. So we'll get the highlights from that. And then the Sheriff's Office. I don't know if it'll be Sheriff Mike Harrington or Charles and one of the lieutenants. But we'll have the folks from the Sheriff's Office join us in the 9 o'clock hour and give us an update what's going on there. So
heck yeah.
A lot of county biz happening today. Before we do any of that, though, take a gander at your weather. We got rain chances and wind today. Enjoy.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Some clouds and maybe a shower early today, but we get sunshine back by afternoon with that low pressure system heading out of our area. Mid-50s on our temperature today. Overnight, some lingering clouds and low 30s, and then our weekend looks pretty good. We'll be in the upper 50s for the high on Saturday with sunshine. Clear for Saturday night, warming into the low 60s and sunny on Sunday. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton, and that's your latest forecast.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 41 degrees here in Roswell, little over. I mean, I would go partly cloudy because I can see patches of blue, barely, but they're there. Humidity is at 82% with winds out of the south at 6 miles per hour. We do have a 30% chance of rain today. They say the sweet spot is between 11 a.m. and 2 p.m., so the lunchtime hours. Partly cloudy otherwise with a high of 54. Winds are going to get breezy this afternoon. Out of the north this morning, 5 to 10 miles per hour, but they'll pick up 15 to 20 for this afternoon. Partly cloudy tonight. Expect an overnight low of 30 degrees. Winds will be out of the northwest at around 10 miles per hour. And for the weekend, sunny Saturday with a high of 56. North winds at around 5 miles per hour. Saturday night, we're looking at clear skies with an overnight low of 29 degrees. Sunday, sunny and 62. West winds 5 to 10. And then looks like we'll be in the mid-60s, 65 on Monday, and mid-60s Tuesday, upper 60s Wednesday, pushing 70 by Thursday of next week. So it looks like warmer temps are just around the corner. All right, quick break, and then we're going to play our interview with Crystal Noble from the Humane Society. Don't go away.
Foot and ankle problems are often agonizing, but they don't have to be. At Artesia General Hospital, we're passionate about helping every patient return to optimal mobility with confidence and comfort. Our board-certified podiatrists, Dr. Jennifer Chow and Dr. Michael Krupa, provide a full spectrum of services ranging from routine foot care and pain relief to customized treatment plans and leading-edge surgeries. Visit artesiageneral.com/foot care to request your appointment today.
At the end of Jesus' life, he was hanging on the cross between two criminals. At first, both were hurling insults at him, but as time passed, one criminal came to realize just who Jesus was and asked him to remember him once he was in heaven. Jesus told the criminal that he would see him there. No matter where you are in your life, no matter what you've done, it is not too late to come to Christ and accept his never-ending grace that he offers. Because this criminal was being crucified, his crimes were deserving of death, yet Jesus was willing to save him. He didn't have time to earn God's grace, not that anyone can, but it was given to him anyway. The Bible says the Lord is not slow in keeping his promise. Instead, he's patient, not wanting anyone to perish, but everyone to come to repentance. Come visit us and learn about God's abundant grace that is always available to those who ask, no matter where or who you have been. He's waiting for you.
Join us at the Country Club Road Church of Christ for worship at 10 a.m. on Sunday, located on the corner of Country Club and Washington in Roswell.
At Richland Motors, it's never been easier to sell or trade your current car, truck, or SUV for a newer model to hit the road in. Even if you don't purchase from Richland, they want to buy your vehicle for top dollar. But if you do buy from Richland, don't forget, they're the home of the powertrain warranty for life. That's a whole lot of confidence for you. See Richland for details, 2nd and Sycamore, and 1309 Southeast Main.
Attention Roswell, Carlsbad, Artesia, and surrounding areas. Roswell Tire and Appliance has what you're looking for with a great selection of refrigerators, freezers, washers and dryers, and ranges, and they can prepare your appliance as well with many models in stock and on sale. You can own it today. RTA services after the sale with repair, warranty, and delivery to Roswell and surrounding areas. Save big on a selection of scratch and dent appliances too, plus a great selection of tires and a team of people to help you when you need it most. Roswell Tire and Appliance, 101 South Main in downtown Roswell.
If you plug your nose, you can't tell the difference between an apple, potato, and an onion, unless you open your eyes. Here's Mike Winters.
Good morning. It is 23 minutes after 9 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning from the Roswell Humane Society, Crystal Noble back with us. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you today?
Enjoying the weather.
It is, it's kind of nice I like the overcast a little bit. It's kind of nice.
It kind of makes it actually feel like winter when you wake up in the morning and you got frost on your grass.
Yeah, the last 2 days I've not felt New Mexico like at all. I've felt more East Coast in the last 2 days and out here, and then I've felt in a long time out here just from the weather and stuff. So.
We need more rain.
Hopefully, maybe Friday we'll get a few more drops.
Or snow. We need some snow.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not cold enough for any of that, really. So
we need snow.
Rain it is. But for folks that aren't familiar, Crystal joins us a couple times each month to give us an update what's happening at the Humane Society, which they are what they do, the Humane Society. They're a rescue for pets, and they find homes for pets. They also are home to their thrift store, which is their main source of income to keep the dogs and cats safe and healthy until they get to their permanent homes here. So that's what they do. Sell stuff at deeply discounted prices and find loving homes for dogs and cats. And I guess technically chickens and stuff if the need arises.
If chickens come in, I'm out the door. I'm not a chicken girl. Somebody else is going to have to be there.
Do you ever get like other things than dogs and cats?
We do. We get turtles, we get birds, we get ferrets, we get rabbits, we get guinea pigs.
Okay.
snakes occasionally.
Do they get adopted or what? How does that usually work?
They normally end up going with one of the employees.
Oh, okay.
Or one of our volunteers. She lives out in the county and she has chickens. So if we get any of that stuff, I just call her and tell her, this is coming. Meet them here so you can pick them up.
Yeah. Some of those might be good, like the turtle, or if you ever get fish or something. It'd be like, you know what? You shouldn't be adopting a dog or cat. Let's start with this turtle. All right. All you got to do is keep it in its environment, feed it, water it.
You know what?
And that's all you got to do.
Turtles are actually more
intense, labor intensive.
Very,
more medical.
Very, they have to have certain temperatures, certain lighting, a certain type of light.
I think if you do that, it's not like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like a dog or a cat where you got to constantly give it attention and love it and treat it like a turtle. Once its needs are met, it kind of does its thing. It's a turtle.
Depending. I had 2 turtles when I was younger. They were aquatic turtles, and I got them when they were that big.
Yeah.
And they were friendly. Like, they would come up and get on their little basking thing, and I would pet their head, and they would turn their head and
so they were
put their
personal.
paws. Oh, they were very personable.
Nice. I've never owned those kind of things long enough to see if they're personal.
Yeah, if you get them young enough and you take care of them, they're personable just like a cat or a dog.
When I was in the Air Force, I had a good buddy of mine who he was actually a sergeant where I was just an airman, and he lived off base. He didn't live in base housing. He was an NCO. So he had a home off base, and we used to go over there on weekends and hang out and cook dinner on occasion and watch TV. Just kind of hang out, buddies, do what friends do. And he had a big old iguana. And but he also had a pet rat, and it was the coolest rat in the world. It wasn't rat; it was more, I think it was like an albino rat or something. It was not
the
it was
white
not that
rat
nasty
with the red eyes.
Yeah, it didn't look like the New York City sewer rat. It looked more like a pet rat, but it was the coolest rat. Like it would lay on your lap, you rub its belly, it just hang out with you, it'd sit on your shoulder and chill. And one of the more personable rodents I've ever come across. That
my aunt had a white rat that creeped me out to no end because of the red eyes.
Yeah.
Then when lights hit them, they're like
that albino.
You can see behind their eye, and I'm like, oh,
translucent.
Nope, I'm out.
Yeah.
And iguanas. When I was in high school, our biology teacher had a iguana in the room. His name was Iggy. When you got in trouble, you had to clean Iggy's cage.
Oh, gross.
Yeah, exactly.
I just can't imagine reptile poop as being that much fun to clean
It's disgusting. I didn't even get in trouble, and it was disgusting.
Right.
But we have, starting on Tuesday of next week, if the weather permits, we have a roofing company that's going to be starting our roof.
Nice. Now, how does that work for the animals and everything? Can they work around them, or do they have to move them? Or?
Well, they're coming out early Tuesday morning, and they're going to give me the layout of, okay, so on this day, we're going to be doing this section. This day, we're doing this section. So that way, if we need to close, we have a 24-hour notice.
Sure, and then you can shift to move the animals to where they're safe.
But they're going to try to do it to where we don't have to close.
Okay. So the goal is to stay open, but depending on how this process goes, that may change as needed.
Right. We definitely are looking for donations towards helping the cost of this because it is very expensive.
I would imagine, yeah. So please come donate, buy from the thrift store. If you'd like to make a monetary donation straight out, that would be amazing. It is a nonprofit organization. All the money you donate, all of the things you contribute when you come sign up to become a member, whether it's your kids or your family or whatever, that money goes back to the resources of that humane society, whether it's paying for that roof or paying for vet bills or paying for just the cost of raising cats and dogs in a facility here.
It is very expensive.
Yes.
And that's even with them giving us a discount because of us being a nonprofit.
Mm-hmm.
So if you would like to make a donation towards the roof, we have our donate button on the website. You can donate through PayPal.
Yeah.
There are areas on there to leave special instructions. You could just put towards roofing fund, or if you want to mail in a check, come by. just let us know you would like it to go towards the roof.
Yeah, we'll put it specifically for that. And of course, if you come and you say, hey, I've got food that I want, or I got food, litter, things like that, we always
Puppy
accept that
food
stuff.
is a big right now need.
All of it helps keep that
does.
shelter going.
It really does.
Because guess what? If you donate food, then that's less money they have to spend on food. They can put it towards the roof.
Right.
So all of it
And
helps.
we have to have a roof in order for us to be able to keep doing what we're doing because our roof is very bad.
So all the donations are very helpful. It all goes towards a good thing. So if you have that food or pick that up, but if you'd like to, if you're like, I don't have time to go to the store, I don't know a pet owner, but I love pet, maybe I can't own one, but go to the RoswellHumane.org website and hit that donate now button and throw some shekels there because
please
it would and I'm telling you this now because the Humane Society, they really in a community where we have a pet overpopulation problem. Roswell's been notorious for this problem for a long time. I would argue it is better than it was 20 years ago, but it's still not where it needs to be. We have too many pets that need homes and aren't being taken care of. Too many feral cats and strays that are roaming the streets and stuff because people thought owning a pet was a good idea and decided against it when they learned out there's responsibility. All these things are still a problem. However, the Humane Society is really one of the biggest in town. That's really, they're a no-kill shelter. They go like even places like animal control where, they try not to, but, when there's too many animals and not enough cages, they've got to euthanize. And guess what? Humane Society is that one of those great organizations that try to come in and save the day to eliminate as many of those euthanations as possible here. So by you helping out with the roof, by you doing this, you're keeping this tradition going of making sure these animals have a home, and we're not euthanizing animals that could have been some loving family's home.
Right, because at the end of the day, we're here to be a part of the community and to help the community. And if we don't have a proper structure, we're not able to house the animals properly and safely, and we wouldn't be able to operate. So for the safety of the animals and staff and customer shopping at the thrift store, we need to have this roof put on so that way nothing collapses, nothing falls in, no water leaks coming down, people shopping, got water pinging on their head. It's a safety feature.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And for safety reasons.
For people and pets. It's for everybody.
And
Absolutely.
so in order for us to be able to do what we do daily, and to be successful at it, we need help.
Absolutely. So please, volunteer even. They're always looking.
Dog walkers are always needed.
We're in
we're in the good weather.
Yeah, so we're in a time of year where it's a good season for taking the dogs out where it's not too hot yet.
Yeah.
The weather's, pretty mild, so you can take them on nice walks and not freeze or burn the poor dog and cat's paws here. So if you can't own a pet because you live in an apartment or something, or
or your landlord doesn't allow them, because that's one of the things we're finding is the biggest issue right now as to why people are wanting to surrender their pets is landlords are changing their policies and not allowing pets anymore and making them give up their pets.
Absolutely. Well, it's for them. It's a cost thing, and
it's also for the unresponsible pet owners in the past who have.
Well, that's exactly. We're seeing the fruits of what irresponsible people are doing, and it's so sad because you're right. I think most of us are great. They treat animals great. They love them. Some of us a little bit more overboard than others. Maybe they treat them like people instead of dogs sometimes.
My dogs are my kids. Yeah. And so is my horse.
Which ain't nothing wrong with that. But I think most of us are like that. I really think it's like this 1% of humans that do these god awful things to animals, and unfortunately,
they stand out more than the people who do good.
Yeah, and let's face it, we get more mad when we see that because, and this is at least my logic. I think I could be wrong, but because we look at animals as defenseless, like they don't know, they don't understand the environment, the situation, the scenario. So we're instantly going to defend that. Whereas another human being, sure, kids, we all, but as human beings, like you knew what you were getting into before this moment started. We're a little less sympathetic there, and good, bad, or indifferent. That's the way I think human nature is. And I think it's just because we look at animals as they don't understand what's going on. They're just reaping what some idiot's doing to them and don't know the circumstances. Or so even when they're quote unquote training a dog, if you're doing that kind of stuff, you don't realize that the dog doesn't understand why you're doing what you're doing. You know what I mean? It doesn't connect to them.
No, and I tell everybody, animals are just like young children, young kids, toddlers. They have a voice. We just don't understand what they're saying.
Right.
And so we have to be the ones to help decipher what's wrong and help them and try to fix it. And if we're not going to be a voice for them, then they have no voice.
Sure.
And there's enough homeless animals in this town that need a voice.
And to be honest, I think dogs by nature, and this is all dogs, little, big, everyone, by nature, they want to make their owner, their
master happy.
Happy. They do. They dogs by nature thrive on praise. And that's why they always tell you when you're training a dog, when they do something right, go over the top praising them, because that sinks in. They get, mom or dad loved that. I need to keep doing that. This is what's making them love me more, and they want to do those kind of things.
Cats,
cats different animal, but they will do it to a point too. They just are way more nonchalant about it. They're very pattern creatured. They are a habit creature, and if you change their habit, it is not fun. I saw the funniest video earlier of a cat, and the cat's watching a Mike Tyson fight on TV.
Is the cat sitting up and he's boxing at the TV
well,
too?
no, even different.
Oh, okay.
Even different. This one, he's sitting on the back of the couch watching the fight, and you see the boxer keeps doing this, ducking and weaving the punches.
Yeah.
And then they cut to the cat fighting another cat. That same cat fighting, I guess, a sister or whatever, brother, whatever cat there. The cat's sitting there doing the, and then hits a pot. I'm watching, and they were like saying the cat learned it on TV.
Oh my gosh!
And watching the cat.
Well, I saw the one where
like
they
Mike
had
Tyson.
The cat sitting on like the TV entertainment station.
Yeah.
And like they had a boxing match on, and so the cat is like this, sitting up on its back legs, and it's hitting the person, and it's going like this, and I'm laughing because like the cat's in the match.
Right.
And so instead of them watching the match, they're watching the cat.
Right.
Because the cat's boxing an invisible person.
I saw another clip of a cat watching soccer and kept trying to stop kept diving in, trying to see.
Oh.
Didn't succeed, obviously.
Obviously, yeah.
But yeah, cats, they got their thing too.
They do, and like they like their praises in different ways versus dogs. Like it over the top. Cats like it a little bit more subtle, because loud things, cats are like, eh.
Yeah. Although I'll do it anyway. Just oh, stop it! I'll pick them up. You know what I mean? I can do that. You guys better not, but I can do that.
Yeah, my cat's gonna get you if you do that.
I'll tell her to shut up, but she won't. She listens to me. But even my wife, she'll fight her sometimes.
That's funny. But at the thrift store, so the thrift store has outbeat Walmart for
really?
once. Yes. So we have Valentine's stuff out, but we also have Easter stuff.
Nice. You got to jump on the Easter and
Valentine's.
Valentine's.
Jump on the Easter and Valentine's. I know Walmart's got a ton of Valentine's stuff out. But Camille's like, I'm pulling out Easter. And I'm like, it's only January. And she goes, I'm beating Walmart.
So if you need your Valentine's stuff, or if you need your Easter baskets and grass and all the ancillary stuff for Easter, come by the thrift store.
They've got a lot of it out.
Instead of paying $20-$30 for new baskets and grass and all that stuff, you can get them for pennies on the dollar.
They have brand new bags of grass that people bought, never used, and donated. Yeah. So it's not like it's got melted chocolate or anything in it. These are brand new pieces of the fake grass in a bag.
Sorry, it's not the dispensary grass. This is the Easter candy in your basket grass.
This is the children's grass.
Just to clarify, in case someone's tuning in. They got bags of grass.
Yeah, this is children's grass. Clothes. If anybody is needing clothes, they have a lot of clothes. Men's, women's, kids.
Excellent.
From dress clothes to work clothes.
Of course, we're changing seasons. It's going to be wet. If you still need a coat or two, there's probably those. But
they do.
If you probably need to get some more spring line stuff for the kids, now's a good time to start doing some of that shopping.
Right.
Too.
You want to get some next size up clothes for the kids, come down.
Absolutely.
Shoes, they got a ton of brand new Nikes donated.
Nice.
Variety, kids, men's, women's.
Various sizes.
Various sizes.
Nice.
house lights, the outer lights that you set up for like the and stuff.
Is it like LED ones or just kind of
like the ones that look like that have like the dome over them that are kind of decorative.
Yeah.
The outdoor decorative lights. They got 5 or 6 of those donated brand new in the box. They still have 2 flat screen TVs. I think they're the 42 inches.
Okay.
They work. They just don't have remotes, and you can buy universal remotes. So.
Well, if you got or if you have a cable or satellite or something, they usually come with a remote that you program and
right.
Yeah. So.
They still have that royalty set, and Sean and I talked about this last time I was here for the proper name of it, because it's basically like when you're watching stuff like Queen Elizabeth, you know how they get their tea and
it's
stuff.
It's a formal tea set.
It's a formal tea set.
With the tray and the cups and the saucers
everything.
And the pitcher, the whole 9, yeah.
And it's white and blue. It's very, very pretty. And it is the complete set, so you could set up like 6 people to come and have
probably
tea.
Very nice and very expensive too, I'm guessing.
When they looked it up online, the entire set valued at like $900.
Yeah, I'm about to say these are collector's items.
And they have it listed for $200.
Wow. So you can save some coinage.
Yes.
If you're a collector of these types of things. I know there's people out there who love collecting this stuff.
Yes.
Well, you can get basically $1,000 set for about $200.
I think it's a 24-piece Fiesta set.
Oh wow.
Fiesta's expensive.
Fiesta's expensive and highly coveted. I know.
They have that, I think, for $100 for the entire set. 24 pieces for $100.
See, this is what we talk about with the thrift store. You can literally get high-ticket items for pennies on the dollar because people are kind enough to donate these kinds of things.
Yep.
So, thank you to the people that donated those items. It's great that you were able to part with those things, and someone needs to take advantage of it. I know that's a unique purchase for somebody.
It is.
But I know there's somebody out there that it's way into collecting that kind of stuff and probably would covet that very much to have it.
There's a lot of people out there that love Fiesta and don't know that we have it. Well, we have it.
You keep popping in.
We have a Facebook page for the kennels and for the thrift store. And so they will post a lot of stuff that's nicer and higher quality.
Sure.
They'll post it on Facebook to let people know, hey, come down.
Well, yeah, so like and follow that. But I would, if you're a lover of collector of things and all that, I would make it a point to once a week
check them.
Come into the thrift store. I know we have our Wednesday crew that comes in at opening on Wednesday to search for because that's the new stuff show up on the shelves Wednesday. They're Wednesdays. They're closed that Tuesday and Monday. That's the day they restock, resupply, re-inventory, do the housekeeping side of the thrift store there, and then so the new stuff's on Wednesdays. So I would make it a point to just come every Wednesday, take a gander. You never know what you see. And odds are you're probably going to find something or two that you're like, oh, I would love that for the home. Oh, it's $5. Yeah, let's get that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's such and every penny that you do are helping to pay to take care of those animals and take care of that shelter. So
they have a ton of DVDs.
Okay. And they're kind of getting a resurgence in people wanting them. Like a lot of people are now realizing, oh, wait a minute, I buy these things digitally and I don't really own them. I only own them as long as I own the service.
Right.
And they want actual physical copies of these movies that they love. So, yeah, DVDs are kind of making a little bit of a comeback. The younger generation are finally like, oh, wait, I kind of like holding on to a movie that I can pop into something and watch anytime I want.
Yep.
So, so if you're looking for DVDs,
they have like an entire wall full of them.
And those DVDs and Blu-rays are probably a couple bucks a piece, and as opposed to $10, $20, $25,
$49 for some.
Depending on the movie. Yeah. So start building your physical collection.
Yes.
By coming to the thrift store.
They had a bunch of unopened packages of adult diapers, the incontinent diapers.
Okay.
The lady said that they sent her the wrong size for her husband.
Okay.
And so she's like, I told them to return them and give us the right size, and they told her to donate them.
Gotcha.
So they're brand new, not open.
So if you need some of those,
or know somebody who does,
you can probably get them real cheap.
Medical braces for like your wrists, your elbows, knee sleeves, and stuff like that.
Okay.
They have a lot of those.
Good deal. And that stuff gets expensive too. If you go to like just Walmart or wherever to buy those things, they're a lot of money. So And they're good to have on hand, you know, in case you sprain your wrist or something.
Right.
You know, so.
Like, just a regular, like, brace was $49.
Yeah,
I was like, wow.
You buy this for probably, what, $10? And then.
Five, that.
And then just, you know, keep it in the first aid kit or in the bathroom, wherever you keep that kind of stuff until you need it, you know.
And then they have, calling all purse ladies, a lot of purses. A lot.
I'm not telling my wife.
I might. No.
Everybody but my wife can go and get the purse.
And then for gentlemen, Valentine's Day is coming up.
Right.
So if you want to be sweet and you want to be thoughtful and you want to be creative, they have an entire like bookshelf full of vases.
Nice.
So you can arrange your own flower decoration, or if your wife is into something other than flowers, you can make like a chocolate bouquet and use the vase.
Yeah.
Me, I like pickles, so.
Well, and even like, because there's a lot of brand new stuff there too.
It is like.
You could get her something brand new. Don't tell her you got it at the thrift store for a third of the price you would have bought it new. I'm going to tell.
I wouldn't care. I'd be like, sweet, you save money.
And to be honest, you might even say, yeah, I saved us money and helped out the Humane Society, which she might even be appreciative of. You know what? There's another thing too. You know, maybe she has it all or he has it all and is impossible to shop for, but loves pets. Make a donation in their name to the Humane Society. And I think we could print out a certificate or something saying we donated $100 in your name or whatever it is.
And we will send an acknowledge out saying so-and-so made a donation in or in honor of you for your birthday or Valentine's Day or whatever.
So if you do have a person that has it all kind of thing, or they just buy their own, that's my problem. My wife just buys things she wants. So when it's time for her to get something she wants, she's like, I already got it. Or, you know, I don't know I want it yet. So
I save things for my husband.
Yeah,
so I'm like, okay, you know, he's going to need to know things that I want. So I'll send him things. And I purposely don't buy those things so that way he has ideas.
Right.
See, I'm thoughtful.
You are.
But this Saturday also, Camilla's going to do a special sale. They have a big old board like that they pop outside the front door now. And it lists whatever sale of the day they're having.
Nice.
So this Saturday, she said they're going to do something real special.
Good. So be on the lookout. I'm telling you, these deals are great. This is where I say it. And she does this every year. There's discounts to, you know, frequent
if
members.
If you're military, you get a discount. Seniors get a discount on certain days.
And she does all that. But the thing is, it's a nonprofit. So please, if that's what you need to do it, take advantage of it. Awesome. But I've always been like, don't worry about the sale. Just, you know, because this is back to help the pet.
Right.
And so if you don't want to pay the sale price because you want to help, please offer. But if that's what you need to get that item to help you and your family, and at the same time we're helping, take advantage of these bad boys. But if you are of means, and I get it, you want to save a buck, I get frugal and all that too. But I love that they do the specials. I love the sales, and it's a great thing. But remember what we're doing at the end of the day here, and it's to help these animals.
We're keeping a roof over their heads.
Yeah, and so I don't mind paying a little bit extra for these things if I know it's going to help these pets. So I appreciate the sales. I love the sales and all that, but don't let those be the reason you go there for the thrift store. Go there to you know, find an item that helps you out, saves you a few bucks at the time, gets to keep these animals sheltered and on the hunt to find their forever homes. So because at the end of the day, when you come down and buy pants or shirts or crock pots, that's what you're doing.
They have brand new Eagle. Whatever that name brand is. Okay, see, like you can tell I'm not name brand. Brand new with the tags on them. I saw them yesterday. Whoa!
Wow!
Wish I was that skinny.
Yeah, let me know if you procure a Stanley Cup, and anyway, because we'll have to market and promote not the award that the NHL gives out, but you've heard about these Stanley Cups, right?
Okay, so I laughed because the president of the Humane Society came in the other day and she Stanley Cup, and I said, "Oh, you're part of that group." And she goes, "Okay, first of all," she goes, "it was a Christmas gift." She goes, "and second of all, I don't know why they're so popular." She goes, "I've had a Stanley Cup and a Stanley Bowl for like 30 years."
Well, have you heard the story on how?
No.
Sean told me about a month ago with what happened. Apparently, there was a video, TikTok or whatever video
of the husband with the 5-gallon jug making fun of his wife with her big cup.
No, different.
Oh, okay,
that was an offshoot of this.
Oh, okay.
It originally started when a guy or a girl or somebody had a car fire. and it burned up the car. And after the results of the car, they found the Stanley Cup in there, kind of burn up and everything, but you open up, there's still liquid with ice in it inside of it. So everyone's like, dang, that's a good cup. And so everybody and their uncle start buying Stanley Cup. And that's how it turned into a thing off of a video that someone saw that a car burned up and the Stanley Cup was in there and it still had ice in the cup. And they're like, that's a good cup. And so now everybody's losing their mind and think now they got a cup that'll keep ice eternity, keeping ice in a cup until the next ice age.
Okay, they went from like $29 to $150.
Yeah. Well, and then Stanley, of course, they shared it, went viral, and I think they hooked the person up and bought him a new car and a Stanley Cup.
Here's a hard.
But yeah, so that's kind of the gist of how it all caught on. But I know they're overinflated price wise, and now they're something that was very pedestrian is being treated like it is the Hope Diamond. So.
Well, I laughed because I saw this TikTok video or Reels video, one of the two, and this wife, she has like a Stanley Cup, and it's the big cup, and she's got the handle, and she's walking around with it, and then her husband comes in, and he's got a 5-gallon water jug that's got the handle on it, and he's got a pool noodle stuck inside of it, and then a straw sticking out of the pool noodle, and he's like, this is how you look with that big old cup. And he's like flinging it around, and I was just like, wow.
Yeah.
And then there was one with like a 5-gallon water bucket too, and I was like,
they were Southern, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, Southern people, the sense of humor of Southern people just different. And that's right there.
That's people that don't get their feelers hurt.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a your heart moment right
there. And I laugh because I'm like, what is the big deal with these stupid cups? You know, like it's not a Yeti, and obviously I'm not a Yeti person either because these are.
Yeah, you got a Stephen King cup, looks like. Here.
Yes, it is. It is the Christmas present from my Felicia 2 or 3 years ago, or 4 or 5 years. I don't know.
Nice.
I've had it forever.
See, good for you.
We all float.
This cup is this one I got at Christmas. My wife, her school, instead of having a Christmas party this year for all the staff, they bought each of the teachers a cup, and it was just like this one, and they had it monogrammed and everything.
Oh, okay.
But it was I liked the cup because it was actually a little bigger mine, but skinnier and taller, and so it fit my car better and all that. So I was like, you know what, I'd like one of those, and so she got one. This was the least feminine of the bunch. This cream white color. We're mostly like in pastel colors, so I was like, I'm good on those. But cup. I broke the straw 3 minutes into owning it, but it's a good cup. But it's not a Stanley Cup, and it's like $20, not $200.
I don't know. I saw if they're the true Stanley Cups, they're on Temu for like $8.
Yeah, those are the true ones on Temu.
I love Temu.
Yeah, you and Sean. Although I think Sean's is souring a little on Temu.
Okay, so
he's been
I
less
placed
Temu.
one order last year, and then I just placed an order last night because I want this little car vacuum cleaner thing, and it's battery operated and plugs into the car charger, and you could just vacuum up stuff if you make a mess, and it's small.
Well, I think Sean was borderline getting to be a problem. Like he was starting to come in with like this sack of things, and it's just stuff he got off Temu, and like 2/3 of it, I'm like, that'll be broken a week. But he loved it, and he's got a whole. And guess what happened? Breaks in a week. But for a while there, I think Sean's calmed down, but I think there was a problem. We almost had to have an intervention or a meeting about it.
That's too
he was
much.
coming in with these bags of Temu things. I was like, what are you buying? Why take that man's phone away from him? He needs to stop being on the internet.
Uninstall that app.
You do not need that.
That is a nay-nay.
Yeah. But anyway, I just saw the time.
I know.
As far as the pets go, how are the adoptions? How are we selection right now?
A lot of dogs. I have a transport on Monday, so all of the cats that I have are going.
Okay.
So I will be waiting for someone to come out of quarantine before we have any cats available.
Okay.
And then lots of dogs.
Okay.
I have every single kennel full in the kennel with dogs. I even have dogs up in the front in cat cages.
Oh, wow. So definitely got a big, little, all the above?
All of the above, from small to medium to large to biggin.
Good deal. Please, folks, don't forget the adult dogs and the big ones. Everyone likes to gravitate towards the puppies and things because it's just human nature. But don't forget, there's a few dogs that have been there a while that are just looking for a loving home, and they're great dogs.
We have
they don't check all the boxes that people look for sometimes.
We have a pit mix. I think she's pit boxer. We named her Queenie. So sweet, so friendly, very happy to meet new people. Loves to go on walks. If you want a office dog or a dog to just hang out with you, that's the dog.
Companion dog.
Yeah, and then like her energy level is whatever your energy level is. She's not like bouncing off the walls, tearing up stuff. If you want to go run, she's gonna run.
Nice.
If you want to sit, she's gonna sit.
So it might be a single or older or person that
she wants to be wherever you are.
Yeah, that's sometimes those dogs aren't the puppy, the 6-year-old. They're the
and she's 3 years old.
Yeah,
but
so a young dog, still very young.
She's very young. She just has, because of her size, and a lot of people, they're intimidated.
Yeah, and let's face it, bigger, older dog. A bigger dog.
She's housebroken.
So it's all, but generally 10 to 14 years, depending on the breed.
Mm-hmm.
And smaller dogs, you might see them 18 years and things like that. So I get it. Sometimes you're like, I'm only going to get this dog for a couple of years, but
then think about it.
Think about how much love you can give that dog for the couple of years you got.
Right.
And that's the point I make.
Give that animal the happiest time of its life that it's ever had, because I don't know her backstory. She was found as a stray. And so I can't say, she came from a wonderful home. Fortunately had mishaps.
She had a hard life. We don't know. But
you can tell she's definitely had a few litters of puppies. She's got big boobs.
I would also, she's nursed a lot and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I would even offer that, dogs are like people. As people get older, you get wiser. And dogs and cats are the same way. The dog that's 8 is not going to do things that a 2-year-old dog does. It just doesn't. And by that also, it's also going to understand and probably respond to you much better, because that dog has been around people for a longer time.
Dog is never too old to learn new things.
And once the dog learns your personality, will probably slip into your routine much quicker than a puppy that you quote unquote have to train to do that. Where this dog's going to be a little bit more intuitive to read and react to what you're doing, and be more receptive to try to emulate that or try to, coexist with that.
Right.
So that's so even though the dog doesn't check all the boxes that you initially walk in, sometimes you're going to meet the best personality, the best well-functioning animals are those older pets that people tend to walk past.
So. They are. And I could talk all day about older dogs we have, and we could still be here tomorrow morning.
Yep, absolutely. So please don't forget those guys. Those are the ones that end up in the shelter for 6 months and a year, and they get institutionalized. And that's the saddest thing to see. And I know the Humane Society does all the loving and everything on these animals, but at the end of the day, they're still in a cage for a long hunk of the day. And that does, anything, any person body that at some point that's going to get to you a little bit. So it's just what it is. So we'll see you in a couple of weeks here.
Yes,
Don't forget RoswellHumane.org. Come on by the thrift store or the shelter there on East McGaffey. Give the hours real quick.
Tuesday through Saturday, 10 to 12 and 1 to 4:30 for the kennels, and the thrift store is Wednesday through Saturday, 10 to 4:30.
Awesome. Well, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Yes.
9:59. Quick break before they kick me off the radio.
This isn't just an invasion of privacy. It's a direct assault on your liberty and hard-earned money. It's another reason why I recommend physical gold IRAs from the Birch Gold Group. I'm Lance Wallnow. I'm a news analyst and a podcaster with nearly 25 million downloads to people just like you who cherish their financial independence. A precious metals IRA can help you avoid the scrutiny of Big Brother while also preserving your retirement savings through almost anything, including economic crashes, political instability, and even hyperinflation. To find out more, get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word FAITH to 989898. Birch Gold Group is the only gold company I trust. Get their free info kit and see how a gold IRA can help you. Text FAITH to 989898. Remember, there's no strings attached. Text FAITH to the number 989898 right now, and I pray you're blessed with continued prosperity.
Mali's military government has declared an end to a 2015 peace deal with rebel groups operating in the country's north.
In a statement read on state television, a spokesman for the military government said it was ending the agreement with immediate effect. He blamed the other signatories for not abiding by their commitments and accused the deal's chief mediator, Algeria, of hostile acts. There's been no comment from the Algerian authorities. A breakdown of the agreement, known as Algiers Accord, had begun to seem inevitable. In December 2022, the coalition of armed groups, mostly from Tuareg communities, had announced they were pulling out of the negotiations, accusing the junta of lacking the political will to achieve peace.
The BBC's Chris Iwoko. Police in South Korea say the attacker who beat a South Korean lawmaker with a rock is a 14-year-old boy and is now undergoing a mental health evaluation. News and analysis, townhall.com. U.S. considering scaling back its presence in one Middle Eastern country.
The United States and Iraq will soon begin talks to wind down the mission of a U.S.-led military coalition formed to fight the Islamic State group in Iraq. The Pentagon says the size of the U.S. military footprint in Iraq will be part of the discussions. The announcement comes as U.S. forces in Iraq have been increasingly targeted by Iran-backed militias. But Washington says the time frame for the discussion isn't related to the attacks. Iraqi officials have periodically called for a withdrawal of coalition forces for years. Those calls have increased in recent months against the backdrop of the Israel-Hamas war. Keith Peters reporting.
King Charles at a private London hospital to undergo what Buckingham Palace describes as a corrective procedure for an enlarged prostate. The 75-year-old king being treated at the private London clinic. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder, and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm, I'm breathing through it. Flamenco gets on the cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel said, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to our number 2.
The deuce.
Of Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
It's hard to be in two places at once.
It is. You need the Hermione thing.
I do. Your time turner.
Yeah. Mornings, that's the only reference I got to going back in time right now.
Okay.
Short of a DeLorean.
Yeah.
Which, all fairness, Harry Potter's way seems way easier than getting in the DeLorean and going 88 miles an hour.
Yeah, that's true.
All that stuff. So.
I saw a really cool picture the other day. It sort of like upped his cool points like another 100 points, and he's already up there. Jim Varney, Ernest himself, Ernest P. Worrell himself, owned a DeLorean.
Did he?
Yes. Proudly owned a DeLorean, and he loved it for a couple of reasons. Number one, because of the gull-wing doors and because of the futuristic nature of it. This is before even Back to the Future. And the other reason that he got the DeLorean And he was a man of pretty simple means. He wasn't flashy. He wasn't somebody who like went out and showed off a lot.
He kind of lived. He wasn't like, you know what I mean, burn all the time, but he kind of lived that character a bit.
It was a demure, downplayed lifestyle, but, so to speak. But he bought the DeLorean because it matched the color of his Rolex.
Ooh.
Right? That's a baller move. I'm going to match my car to my watch. That's a baller move. It's a stainless, I guess it's like that same stainless steel color, but it's Rolex.
Well, I guess there's a newer DeLorean now. Like they brought back the DeLorean company.
Oh, yeah.
And they're making new DeLoreans.
Well, I'm not sure about like new DeLoreans, but I did read, this was a few years ago, there's a company in, I think in Germany, or a warehouse that still stocks every part necessary to build a brand new, essentially off of the factory line,
1980s
DeLorean.
Okay.
Like from scratch.
And the video clips I saw for the new ones, they're not that platinum, silver, or whatever it is.
Oh, really?
Aluminum or whatever color.
Stainless steel.
Yeah, whatever it is.
Which
this was a red one.
Uh-huh.
But it had the gold wing doors.
Was it still brushed, like the brushed color?
I don't recall.
Or was
maybe.
it like a shiny? Well, the other thing is, this is a fun fact. So I guess people who are the original purchasers of the Cybertruck, because they're finally rolling off of the factory line and people are getting their Cybertrucks now, they're pointing out that in the owner's manual, like the very first page is completely about anytime anything gets on or like on the surface of this vehicle, you need to wash it and detail it immediately.
Wow.
Because it is not, there's no clear coat, it's stainless steel, and they said even skin oils can deteriorate the material.
Now, why would you do that? It doesn't make sense. Why would you have a car
so you can have that stainless steel brushed look?
But if it's supposed to be a truck that is supposed to do tough things, it's going to get dirty. It's going to get scratched. And if you have it in a coating that is not resistant to that, then what's the point of doing it? That's just stupid.
I agree.
That's like saying we sell pizzas, but they look like cheeseburgers, and we call them pizzas.
The whole rundown, the whole thing with Cybertruck, as I've like watched how it's progressed. Do you remember that one episode of The Simpsons where Homer's brother lets Homer design a car?
I don't remember that.
No, it was a pretty famous early Simpsons episode, but he lets him design a car called the Homer, and the car that he designs is an abomination. I mean, there's like it looks like a car from the Jetsons where there's like bubbles for different people in the car. And it's just horrific. And like, I guess the entire time that he was making it, the guy, his brother, was hands off. Like he didn't check in on him, check on the production.
Turned him loose.
He just let Homer cook. And the result, when they pulled the curtain up, it was Danny DeVito was the one who voiced his brother, by the way. He just looks at the car and everybody is shocked. And he goes, "I'm ruined. You've destroyed my car." It's classic episode, but that's basically been Cybertruck.
Yeah.
It's like the entire process of him rolling that out.
But you can shoot an arrow at it and it won't penetrate it.
Well, that's true.
But you got to wash it right after they shoot
But
the
make
arrow.
sure you take it to the car wash in this post-apocalyptic place in which arrows are being fired at your vehicle.
Right. Road Warrior, but with car washes every 3 feet to wash your Cybertruck.
As long as you got an octopus, you're good to go.
And you just stop in the middle of the chase because the juice ran out.
Hold on, I gotta charge.
Yeah, it's starting to remind me of that video clip I saw of someone recreated Road Warrior but with tricycles.
Oh God, that was great.
I feel like we're getting there. With
that was great.
Oh, man.
We ride.
Bill Williams,
Yes.
Chaffetz County Manager, is patiently waiting in the other room here, so we should probably get the hour started. Do want to thank the fine folks at McDonald's. Each and every Friday, they provide us with delicious breakfast treats.
Although, where's the biscuit love, Roy? There's a bunch of McMuffins in there.
There was, and I had
not
me
a
one.
biscuit to be found.
I guess I'm hungry today. I must be feeling, because I ate a Egg McMuffin a few minutes ago. I never eat.
I know you're
in
not
the
a
morning.
breakfast man.
I usually don't, but today I was sounded good.
Peckish. There you go.
So I had me an Egg McMuffin.
You're coming back, I think. It's
think so.
It's like, Mike's like, I don't normally do this, but I got to get my strength.
Yeah.
Got to get my strength up.
Yeah, I think I'm starting to feel back to normal here. Starting to. It's kind of, like I said, and my voice is almost there. There's a steady this going on, but it's not as all over the map. I don't crackle as much.
It's more of just a squeak when you start.
Yeah. And then once I get going, it's not. It sounds like I'm tired or something.
Yeah.
But it's my voice at least. People are like, doesn't sound like Wolfman Jack on the radio anymore. But
Which
so I'm almost there.
I was thinking about it in there too. And the next step is we have to build a decent batch of regular voice mic interviews for fill-ins. So now there's the next step in the process.
That's right. But Bill Williams, Chavis County Manager, going to join us here. Big thank you to McDonald's.
Indeed.
Swing by, download the app. It is your friend. It is your compadre.
Do what I did on Sunday, last Sunday, is just to go take the kids, let them play, let them loose in the play place if you have kids that young. And then, or even, just do this in the regular restaurant. Go just walk in, sit down, open up your app if you have some extra points, and then just start redeeming those points. And one by one, do it one item at a time, because it's really going to make you feel that king status, because somebody's going to walk over to you with a tray with one item on it, and they're going to set it in front of you. And that's your course. And then they're going to come back with another course for you. It's almost like your soup course, sir.
Yeah, that's right. Your own personal
soft serve course.
McDonald's sommelier serving you courses after courses.
It really does make you feel like a VIP.
You know what? I've been having a hankering the last couple days for something from McDonald's that I don't think I've had in 20 plus years.
Really?
The hot fudge sundae.
Ooh, okay.
The McDonald's hot with the vanilla soft serve and the hot fudge and with the nuts, please.
Of
I
course,
do like
with
the
nuts. And I understand you have to serve them separately, but it's just not the same without the nuts.
And I was just thinking, I was like, I haven't had one of those, and I can't remember the last time I had them. I don't think I've been, since I've been out of the military, I don't recall having a hot fudge sundae.
The last time I had a hot fudge sundae was when I worked at McDonald's, because I got hooked on their caramel sundae. We always go extra caramel because they will put caramel on top with regular
caramel.
They will put in underneath and on top if you go extra.
Yeah, I do enjoy the caramel, but me, I'm chocolate. Hot fudge is 1C. Hot fudge is king to me. So, but I think I'm gonna have to order me one here in the next time or two.
You just sold me on that, because I'm like, I want a hot fudge sundae.
Yeah, I haven't had one in a while. And I'm like, that really sounds good.
My go-to move is always cone in a cup, because then you can enjoy.
And the crux of the problem was you got to eat the hot fudge sundae first. You can't wait till after your meal to eat it, because hot fudge is a ticking time bomb. It starts melting what's in there and turning and hardening, solidifying. So the sweet spot is straight in your hand from the cashier to your pie hole or sundae hole.
Cream hole.
Almost said something I heard yesterday that makes me laugh, but I can't say it on the radio. Oh, man. Sorry, I'll say it off air because I got to now. All right, it is 8:15. Let's get you up to date on the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Some clouds and maybe a shower early today, but we get sunshine back by afternoon with that low pressure system heading out of our area. Mid-50s on our temperature today. Overnight, some lingering clouds and low 30s, and then our weekend looks pretty good. We'll be in the upper 50s for the high on Saturday with sunshine. Clear for Saturday night, warming into the low 60s and sunny on Sunday. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton, and that's your latest forecast.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 44 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 79% with winds calm at the moment. That will change, allegedly. We do have a 30% chance of rain for today. The sweet spot is around the lunch hour between noon and 3 p.m. Partly cloudy for the day with a high of 54. Winds are going to pick up today. They're out of the north this morning, 5 to 10, but this afternoon, 15 to 20. So you will notice their winds. They're not going to be like the I hate winds, but the winds like, oh, how annoying winds, those winds. Partly cloudy tonight with an overnight low of 30 degrees. North winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Saturday, sunny and 56 Winds will be out of the northwest at around 5 miles per hour. Clear tomorrow night with an overnight low of 29 degrees. Southwest winds at around 5 miles per hour. Sunny and 62 for your Sunday. Winds will be out of the west, 5 to 10. Clear skies with an overnight low of 31 Sunday night. And looks like a nice warm week for next week. We'll start the week off in the mid-60s Monday. Tuesday, mid-60s. Upper 60s Wednesday. And low 70s by Thursday of next week. So yeah, there you go. Break out your shorts and your suntan lotion. Now, as soon as you do that, you know what's coming the next week. We'll get 3 inches of snow, guaranteed. All right, it is 8:17. We're going to take a quick 3-minute break, and then Chaves County Manager Bill Williams will join us. Don't go away.
You've heard of a Four Seasons room, but have you heard of a Four Seasons window? Jennifer here from Trustmark Roofing and Windows. It might surprise you to learn many windows are built to handle only the cold or only the heat, but not both. In Southeast New Mexico, one or the other doesn't cut it. That's why Trustmark windows are built to handle our Four Seasons climate. The scorching summers, the bone-chilling winters, and everything in between. Special glass coating blocks extreme UV rays. A stout frame prevents warping from the extreme weather changes. And insulated glass is like putting your home in a giant styrofoam cooler in the winter and keeps cold out and warmth in. And in the summer, it keeps heat out and cool in. For our Four Seasons weather, get Four Seasons windows. Call today for your no-obligation spring window assessment, 575-755-7663, or visit TrustmarkRoofPros.com.
Trustmark Roofing, we put people first.
The Calico Cow has moved to a new home. Visit the Calico Cow at their new home, 200 East College, behind Farley's in Roswell. Lots of exciting changes at the new Calico Cow. New LED lighting, an amazing large classroom, plus more space, which means lots of new items and an even bigger selection of fabrics. Come see it for yourself. Want to know how? Come see the Cow. The Calico Cow's new home at 200 East College in Roswell.
At the end of Jesus' life, he was hanging on the cross between two criminals. At first, both were hurling insults at him, but as time passed, one criminal came to realize just who Jesus was and asked him to remember him once he was in heaven. Jesus told the criminal that he would see him there. No matter where you are in your life, no matter what you've done, it is not too late to come to Christ and accept his never-ending grace that he offers. Because this criminal was being crucified, his crimes were deserving of death. Yet Jesus was willing to save him. He didn't have time to earn God's grace. Not that anyone can, but it was given to him anyway. The Bible says the Lord is not slow in keeping his promise. Instead, he's patient, not wanting anyone to perish, but everyone to come to repentance. Come visit us and learn about God's abundant grace that is always available to those who ask, no matter where or who you have been. He's waiting for you.
Join us at the Country Club Road Church of Christ for worship at 10 a.m. on Sunday, located on the corner of Country Club and Washington in Roswell.
At Artesia General Hospital, our board-certified podiatrists are committed to providing personalized care in a welcoming environment. Dr. Jennifer Chow and Dr. Michael Krupa offer the latest surgical techniques and treat a range of conditions including arthritis, bunions, joint care, and more. If you're suffering from foot, ankle, or lower leg pain, we can help. Visit artesiageneral.com/foot care to request an appointment and begin your journey toward happier, healthier feet.
You can't hunt camels in Arizona, but you can buy them. They go for about $10 a pack. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 21 minutes after 8 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning, Chaves County Manager Bill Williams back with us. Morning, Bill.
Good morning. I'm glad to hear you speaking so
I'm
well.
almost there. Not quite the svelte voice that I normally have, but it is certainly a far cry better than that pecking and garbling I was doing earlier.
Do you remember the episode of the Brady Bunch where Bobby's voice is changing and they have to sing a song? That's what you've been reminding me of the last few days.
I kind of have been. I've been in perpetual puberty for about 2 weeks now.
Voice is changing.
Yeah. I mean, I'm getting hair in funny places, but my ears and nose. That's where it is. It's all coming out of my ears and nose now. It's going through the changes.
Makes sense.
Oh, man. But for folks not familiar, Bill pops in each month to give us the highlights from the Chaves County Commission meeting.
Right.
And, of course, give us up to date on things that are just happening around the county here. So,
right.
And of course, with the legislative session being in full swing now, calendars and schedules are off just a bit. Normally, the commission would have met a week ago, but because of the legislative session and meetings and people have to be in places, it usually gets pushed back around this time of year. And so it is the actual fourth week instead of third week this month.
And we try to allow for that whenever we set our schedule for meetings for the year. We know that New Mexico counties generally meets that third week of January, and so that almost always affects us. And it did this year as well.
But that being said, a meeting was had yesterday, and business was done here in Chavez County. So.
And the other meeting, I think this year we only have two. I think the July meeting is going to be the fourth week as well as the January meeting was. And the reason for that is, a couple of reasons, but the budget is the big benefit. That it gives us an extra week to close out the books.
And that's a new fiscal year starting there. And so there's a lot of I's to dot and T's to cross.
Right.
So,
and they want to wait as long as possible to close out the budget for the year and give them the actual true numbers for the final budget and the final budget approval.
It gives time to kind of...
And that's not why we moved the meeting, but it's just a benefit. We have to move it because of National Association of Counties, I believe, has their annual events during
two birds
time.
Kind of thing.
So it works out pretty good for us. So I was honored to go to Santa Fe on Monday. Not that going to Santa Fe is my favorite thing.
When I hear people say they're going to Santa Fe, usually honored is not the word that they lead it with. But
in this case, it truly was an honor because on the House floor, they did a House Memorial number 9 for Hubert Quintana, who is our former county manager, about 15, 16 years ago, probably.
Up there for good things.
Probably a little longer than that. He was our county manager, but he also, when he left employment with the county, he became a lobbyist for us. He probably brought more money to not just southeastern New Mexico, all over, but certainly his home was southeastern New Mexico.
His heart was in southeast New Mexico,
He probably brought more money to this part of the state than anyone else. So it was truly was a real honor to go up there and watch them present
honor
that
him
to his family. It was really good. So
it's nice to go up there for good reasons.
Yeah, for a happy occasion. And our legislators were all working very hard and diligently. We had the Southeastern New Mexico Economic Development District people up there putting together all of our capital outlay needs for all the different counties and portions of the state, trying to get that in front of the legislators to make sure that we get some of that money a lot of it originates right here in southeastern New Mexico, getting it back down here where we can do some good in our communities for our infrastructure.
Well, and I as people, especially people that have lived in southeast New Mexico their whole lives or a very long time, they all know we send huge amounts of money up north, and we watch it come down in drizzles instead of the more where it should be. And so it's great we have those people that fight and keep.
NMOGA has a map out right now, and you can go to their website and click on each county in the state, and it'll tell you how much money from oil and gas has been spent in their counties. I believe our county was $84 billion, I believe. Albuquerque, I think, Bernalillo County was $586 billion came from this part of the state to build their infrastructure. And, it breaks it down, schools and, all those different types of things. So you can see where the money came from and where it went.
And that's good. We don't mind helping, but don't forget about us down here too.
Well, and the other problem that often happens, in my opinion, is that just because there's a budget surplus doesn't mean you need to spend it.
That's the other thing.
We don't do that in our homes. When we have a little extra money, we put it away because something's probably coming up around the corner.
Just
we may need it.
Families that are living comfortably don't do those things.
Right.
Families that are living paycheck to paycheck, that's what they do. Mm-hmm. And we can't run the state like we're living paycheck to paycheck.
States that rank higher than 50th on every list are not spending any budget surpluses. They're using that money to invest in their communities and making sure that they're taking care of tomorrow.
But I guarantee every legislator that's in there, whether they got a D or an R next to them, they're doing that in their own personal lives. Why aren't they, promoting that same thing in our public finances.
And fortunately, we have some that are, but oh my gosh, it seems like there's a vast majority that aren't.
Yeah.
But fortunately, we have some good representation in our part of the
absolutely. But it's all about votes, because they're like, hey, if I can get the money, I can say I did it to get this park for my people, and next thing you know, I get elected, and then so they're like, but no one's sitting there saying, other than getting you votes, how does that park benefit everybody else? And that's the conversations.
Well, when the state has a huge budget surplus, and you just say, well, to buy some votes, I'm going to send out checks to everyone in the state. Those are the kind of things that just drive me crazy.
Exactly. It's like
infrastructure and building our communities. I'm in for that as long as it's not wasteful. But we all need roads, hospitals, schools, and oil and gas is paid for most of that in this part of the state. Agriculture, oil and gas are huge in New Mexico, and yet they get struck down more than any other industry, I would have.
Absolutely.
So anyway, I didn't mean to go off on that tangent.
I know, but
I really was honored to see Hubert be honored on the House floor. That was great.
We need more of him.
And everyone up there knew who Hubert was. He was a real force, and we have some people stepping up, working to do the same thing. Debbie Lee is up there. Bob Woolley is up there. Of course, Dora Batista is up there. And they're working to kind of fill Hubert's shoes and fill those roles. And they're all very good at it. Nobody's quite as good as Hubert. He really had it under his belt.
When you have multiple people replacing one person, that tells you a lot, right? With the work that they did.
But they all care about us, and they're working diligently again to make sure that some of that money ends up where it originated for improvements. And so that's a great thing.
It is a good thing.
So we had some interesting stuff go on yesterday at our county commission meeting. We had 2 public hearings with the planning and zoning. One of them was to vacate an alley, a pretty simple thing. The other one had to do with the condemnation resolution that was passed last month for an auto salvage yard. And the gentleman wanted it to be appealed, and he came in, and we spent about 2 hours discussing that. The neighbors came out in force and said, this has been a blight in our community and our neighborhood, and we'd like you to do something about it. He came out and expressed his side of it, and it just took quite some time to decide what they were going to do.
Kind of weed through all the details here.
And ultimately what happened is the commission decided not to overturn the condemnation. However, they did allow him to come up with a plan to remediate this problem on his own. But Commissioner Bilberry especially, and I think they all feel the same way, but Commissioner Bilberry himself stated that he's going off the commission at the end of the year. He doesn't want to kick the can down the road and let it be somebody else's problem. So he wants, because it's already condemned, it's already needs to be cleaned up, it's already been identified as a problem.
On that,
He said, I want it done before the end of the year. If he wants to do it, great. That's the best thing that can happen. And so they've given him 60 days to come up with a plan with benchmarks on how he's going to accomplish it, and get things back to where they need to be.
And 12 months is a reasonable ask to get something back to code, I think. Because in essence, that's kind of what we're looking at here.
Yeah, he wants it before the end of the year. And the person asked for a longer period. He says, no, can you do it? And first of all, we need a plan within 60 days that's got benchmarks that show that you're actually doing something. Certain things need to happen along the way.
Not just satisfying checkbox. Oh, I got this. It'll be in next week. No,
and then 6 months from now, nothing has happened. Yeah. So I think that they made a really good decision, in my opinion, because they didn't overturn anything. It's still going to be taken care of one way or another.
There's a chance to
However,
fix it.
they allowed the property owner to
also, it's to prove that you're
on him
sincere.
anyway.
Yeah, you're prove. We're giving you a chance to be sincere about being a good steward here, and if you can meet these things, then we're going to let this go. But if you don't, we're continuing with the condemnation, and as scheduled.
This was one of those times when the community came out kind of in force to make sure that we knew what the problems were.
Good. So people are, we had
so
it's clearly a problem in that
we had already identified that property as a problem and taken the steps to move it forward. But when they thought there might be a chance that it would be turned over, they came out in force, and they were heard. I mean, the commissioners heard them. So.
Well, that's what we tell people to do. You know, at the end of the day, the commission or any elected official, for that matter, are there to serve the will of the community in which they represent.
Right.
And if you don't tell your commissioners or your city councilors or whoever what's going on, then do it professionally, obviously, but they got to know these things. And so exactly how it happened the way it should be. You know,
right.
People came out and said, no, that is not something we agree with. We're going to come out and show support and be polite. Obviously, don't be a mob mentality, but sitting there and filling up the chambers of the commission chamber there with a bunch of people. And let's be honest here, unless there's a hot button issue, there's a half dozen people in the crowd usually at a given time, and it's because usually one of them have to speak at some point in the meeting.
Right. You know, we have probably a little bit more than a half a dozen, but I mean, it's not packed in most cases. And yesterday it certainly was fuller than.
And that
than
sends
usual.
a message. It truly does. And at the end of the day, the county commissioners they want to do, you know, what's right for the community, but at the same time they want to do what you want to see.
You know, we're fortunate. All of our commissioners understand that they represent these people, and they when the people reach out to them and says, "I would like for you to do this," they really sit up and listen and assess if they're doing what the people want.
Sure. Well, and think about it. At the end of the day, when we elect people to represent us, we ideally want them to think, you know, how we think, and that or as close to how we think.
Right.
But they don't, because we're human beings and no one thinks like we think. So when you don't tell the people that represent you what you're feeling, they got to go off their guts and their instincts and what they're feeling. And to be honest, if they don't live there and see it every day, they don't have all the information to really give a true good assessment there.
Right.
So when the public comes out and says, and it's more than just one, it's a whole community saying the same thing, that's a very clear signal to the commissioner saying, hey, this is probably what's more accurate what's going on here.
Right.
We need to address this.
As you said, though, they were very polite. They gave it all the time that it needed for both sides to express their concerns. They asked a lot of really good questions.
We don't need to make this into a TikTok video, but yes, when government or when things are not going the way that you think they should, you need to speak up and stuff. That's being a good citizen.
Yeah, our county and our city are both very receptive to people's input, and really thankful that we live here where we do. So,
but just remember, professional. Keep your cool.
Right.
Act like an adult. Right. You know, there's going to be days you're going to hear things, and people may react to you in a way that's unsavory.
You know,
you stay above it.
I don't know how many conflict resolution seminars or trainings I've been through in my life, but every single one of them says you let the person tell you what the problem is. You don't interrupt and say, yeah, but you don't wait for that pause where you can jump in and try to turn it a different direction.
But we all want to.
Absolutely we do. And that's our nature is to do that, which usually makes the problem worse. Instead, you let the person express what their issue is, and then you ask them questions. What do we need to do to resolve it? You know, you try to find that common ground instead of just jumping in and starting to
It's a law enforcement tactic, too. If you ever watch, Cops or one of these shows, a lot of times the officer just lets the person spout off. And once they've done that, it's out of the system. They've calmed down. Now we can work through the problem.
You know, mentioning law enforcement, so I want to bring up a couple of things. As I've stated before on here, our area is one of those areas in the nation. You either want to fund your law enforcement or defund your police. And I'm so thankful we live in an area where we want to fund our law enforcement. And my story I'm going to tell you here is twofold. Yesterday was our annual visit to the detention, Chaves County Detention.
They come meet and have a meal and all that good stuff.
Well, we didn't have a meal. We just toured the facility. But we have to make sure that the commissioners tour the place at least once a year to assure that everything's being done.
Standards are being complied with. Yeah.
And, we had some really rough road 6 months ago. We've have a new director. We have a new chief of security. We have some new lieutenants. And we were very understaffed, as most of the detention facilities in the state of New Mexico
there's some real issues
are extremely understaffed. we are, if not fully staffed, within 1 or 2 people of being fully staffed. The change in management style, the change in ownership of what's going on at the jail, all that has changed dramatically in the last 6 months. And the commissioners went out yesterday, and it was an eye-opener. You know,
you saw the difference?
Place is clean. We had trustees painting in the building. A lot of repairs have been done. Appropriate supervision of detainees was being done. Every post was manned. The sergeants were able to do sergeant's work instead of doing officer work because we have the staff that we need.
So it's like running like a facility
It's running like a Swiss clock out there. I mean, they have done an excellent job turning things around. And again, it's because we care about law enforcement. We want to do the right thing. And we have a responsibility not only to protect the supervisors out there, the guards, but we also have to protect the detainees.
Absolutely.
You know, they're not guilty of anything. They're being held until they're tried.
They're not convicted. They're waiting sentences.
And you know, they have a lot of rights, and of course we assure that they're taken care of and taken care of appropriately. But that was a real blessing yesterday to go to the jail and see the changes that have happened in the last 6 months.
I always look at places like correctional facilities as kind of like offensive linemen in football. You know, and what I mean by that in football, where offensive linemen, if they do their job, you never hear a peep about anything. Nothing. You know, because they did their job. Everyone else gets the credit because they moved the people and did the thing and didn't get. The only time you hear about offensive linemen is when something screws up.
Right.
And correctional facilities are kind of the same way. If it's quiet, that's good. That means everything's. But when noise is coming, that means, again, there's probably problems here. And I would say, yeah, we heard a lot of stuff a year ago, but it's been awful quiet this last.
Right.
And that's because of what you just said.
And still, you know, there are some people there that are, in a second, are willing to jump in and do something wrong. I mean, there absolutely are people of that nature in there. And not too long ago, a month or so ago, we actually had a person decide to attack an officer as he was doing something. And a couple more jumped in behind. And,
it is a jail. These things do happen from time to time.
But our staff is much better trained than they've been before. In fact, we're creating a new training area. They're going to start their own academy there because they don't want to just meet the minimum requirement for training and self-defense. They want to exceed that. I mean, the buy-in from everyone at the detention facility is just amazing. It's a remarkable turnaround. We had a National Institute of Jail Operations came and toured the jail for a couple of days starting January 2nd. They came as soon as the new year hit. And he was very impressed by how different it was from the last time he was in the facility in a very short time. So anyway, we have great staff. They're doing a great job. They're taking care of the people that are in there. They're assuring that things are done. Our new jail supervisor reviewed this. This is how far it goes. I mean, he reviewed the meals that are given to the detainees. And, you know, there are minimum requirements by the state.
Sure, there's health standards at FBM.
Minimum requirements.
Nutrition standards.
But because he came out of state corrections, he knows, that's the minimum requirement. But I also know that you guys can provide more nourishing meals for the same price. And so, I mean, he worked with our vendor who prepares the meals for the detainees and made sure that they're getting the healthiest meals they can get without costing the county more money. I mean, he is a good administrator, and his staff is good.
Well, and that's you get it because, and I think he gets that because it is jail at the end of the day, and we're not building Club Med here,
right?
But at the same time, if people aren't complaining about the food or treated poorly, you're going to find less tension, less because they've got nothing but time, these people.
Right.
And every little thing is going to create, and so.
And like I say, every person that's in there is not a bad person by any stretch. There are some bad people in there.
But people with idle hands and a resourceful mind could get into some shenanigans here. But if you're not treating people like animals and giving them meals that they're not grossed out by, that they can at least. I'm not saying we got to feed them steak every night, but at least food that doesn't look like something that came out of a dumpster.
Well, and the food that they got previously wasn't bad food by any means. I mean, we've eaten there many times. They provided meals, as you mentioned
Well, I'm
earlier,
sure
for the county commission. And
it's not filled with any kind of flavor or spice, or because
well, no, it's actually not bad food, but
Okay.
it's kind of amazing how they can cook 300 or 400 meals a day and
Right.
have them be as good as they are. But it was just the nutritional value and those kind of things. Says, here's the minimum requirement, and we're paying you this much, but you can also make these meals for this, and I know you can because you do it for
a lot of other places.
And so, I mean, he just stepped up and took care of them. But I think probably the thing that kind of sums it up for our new jail administrator is when the NIJO guy was there, the National Institute of Jail Operations, he went up to one of the new corrections officers, been there a couple of months, and he says, yeah, that guy works for me. He says, what do you mean that guy works for you? He's the jail director. He says, no, that's what he tells us. He works for us. We don't work for him. He works for us. You tell me what you need to do your job, and I'll make sure that you get it. And he really has applied that, and it's working. I mean, people respect him, both sides, whether
That's
they're
great.
in behind the bars or in front of the bars, they all respect him.
And
he makes it clear what needs to happen and how we're going to keep everybody
And that's-
safe and happy and get through this rough time.
The key to success there is keeping it.
So-
And it sounds like he's a good communicator.
He's very good.
And
yes.
and I know every time when there is those dust ups in facilities, there's usually a lack of communication that causes.
And
a
he's
lot of
also a local guy, so I mean, he's got his ties to the community and
So a little bit even more invested because it's his hometown too.
Right.
Yeah.
Very respected and he wants it to be a better place. That's good. The other thing that I want to talk about just briefly is we do support our law enforcement. The county commission at last month's commission meeting approved a salary survey that we had done. It's been a while in the making, but we hired a neutral third party to come in and evaluate every job in the county and said, okay, here's what they should be making at the beginning of their career, the middle of their career, and the end of their career. And every job. And along with that, they took into account what other counties, municipalities, industry, private businesses are paying for the same sort of job. And when you look at Eddy County, Lee County, where the oil field is, of course, that's within driving distance of us. They take that into account in other counties. For instance, the same company, I believe, did Roosevelt County. And they took that into account, what they pay in the oil field in Lee County and Eddy County. But it's not driving distance for them, so it wasn't weighted as heavily. So in our county, they said, if you're doing this kind of work, person could drive to Eddy County, and so that factored in. So anyway, they approved the salary survey. We redid all of our charts and made sure that everyone's being compensated appropriately for this part of the
So the numbers are up a little bit because they are factoring those Eddy County salaries and things.
And some of the jobs, they got a substantial increase because our charts had, over who knows how many years since they've been fixed. They were compressed both horizontally, so the years of service didn't compensate you, and vertically, if you wanted to navigate your way to a better job, a lot of times there wasn't a real incentive to take on the additional responsibility because things weren't. But
everybody was busy puffing up the bottom of the list, and it was making it very not balanced at the top.
Well,
of the list.
and one of the things that created a problem in the last couple of years was the state saying that the minimum wage had to go up to $15 an hour within the next 3 years or whatever it was. And so our county commission decided, instead of coming back doing this piecemeal, little at a time, little at a time, little at a time, last year they brought the minimum, the bottom wage for all of our jobs up to $15 an hour to start there, which made it even worse. But anyway, all of our charts got fixed and updated. Our HR department, our finance department, everybody worked on that, and we made sure that it was done appropriately. Like I say, some jobs were significantly underpaid. Other jobs were pretty much right in the sweet spot.
Gotcha.
So it was just all over. And each individual, depending how long they've been there, of course, was affected differently because of where they landed on the chart.
And I would imagine, too, some variables, like depending on the job, if it's a job that's more in demand than other jobs, let's face it, other areas are going to up that to incentivize.
Right.
So that's where you're seeing some of those numbers change, is because, say they were down law enforcement, they're like, well, we're going to weigh up that to counterbalance.
So
you're seeing some
you're
of that.
getting ahead of me here. Right?
Sorry, okay.
So,
but I'm like,
so all the charts in the county were done except the law enforcement chart.
Okay.
And the reason was we had a union in Chaves County. we had a sheriff's union. They've had that for 5 or 6 years. I'm not real sure how long they had it. And anything that's done with the union has to be done according to the collective bargaining agreement, the
Sure.
CBA. There are certain timelines that you have to follow. You can't do something, even if it's perceived as good, without going through the process of making sure it's okay. For instance, last year, the county commissioners decided to give a 5% cost of living increase to everyone, and that included law enforcement, but we had to go through special steps to make sure we could give it to the sheriff's deputies.
Gotcha.
And it's not the ranking officers that are part of the union. It's all the entry level officers and patrol persons and all that. So they had a union.
Not your sergeants and lieutenants.
And they had been apparently dissatisfied with their union. I don't want to speak on their behalf, but anyway, they had already begun the process of dissolving their union. Unfortunately, it wasn't dissolved literally within days of approving the raises for everyone in the county. We couldn't do it for the detectives or the
missed
deputies
it by this much
because of the timing. And until that was either gone, if it was gone, we could do it. If it wasn't gone, we had to go through the CBA. They were in the process literally of being heard that week in Santa Fe at the Public Employees Labor Board or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
So we got final approval that they are no longer a union. And so at yesterday's meeting, we were very happy to be able to go ahead and give the raises to the deputies because we do support our law enforcement in Chaves County. We have a really good benefit package as county employees.
Absolutely.
But what we see now is even comparing to the city of Roswell, they have uncertified positions that start, and then once you're certified, it starts a little higher. Our rates are fairly close. We don't have uncertified, so ours starts at the rate that they're paying their uncertified.
They're certified, gotcha.
But it also exceeds their maximum by a little bit, plus our benefits are
Gotcha.
really good.
So it's kind of comparable apples and oranges.
So at least we're comparable. Yeah.
So it's better on this end, but maybe a little bit different.
I'm not saying that we may not need to continue to evaluate it and make sure it's right, but now we have that flexibility, just like when we realized we needed to compensate our law enforcement people at the detention facility. We were able to react very quickly with that and do what we needed to correct shortcomings and problems and recruit and retain people. Now we'll be in a position where we can do that more effectively with the sheriff's department. Before, it's not that they didn't want to do it; it's just the process was so long and drawn out, so we no longer have to worry about that.
It makes them more attractive, a desirable place to work, and so, and it's competitive nature when you have an industry that is in such demand of people, and the supply is so small that it gets very competitive to compete to get the right people to do that. And you basically gave the sheriff's department the tools to do that fighting and battle and recruit to get fight to get the good people here.
We have some really good officers, and of course the state is looking at giving another 15% increase to the state police and corrections officers, which takes them immediately away from but there's only so many jobs they have. So once they're filled, I guess that'll end. But we need to be competitive. We need to make sure that we have the best and brightest and the good law enforcement people. We certainly don't want them all going down the road to another location.
Sure.
We want to be sure that we attract and retain them.
Yeah, it's a competitive game here that they play.
And in our community, we're all trying very hard to do that. And like I say, I include the city on that as well. I know they have a union, but they're all working hard to make sure that
they're in the same boat you are.
That we keep the best in our law enforcement.
Well,
and we're fortunate that we live in a community where, union or not unionized, that we want to do the right thing with our law enforcement. And I'm real happy that our commission got the opportunity to do that yesterday.
Absolutely, yeah. We one thing is safe to say is we here in Southeast New Mexico value our law enforcement officers.
Absolutely, we do.
And all of our peace officers, we are so thankful for their service to our community, and we want to take care of you. We do. We want to back the blue here in Southeast New Mexico.
We back the blue. That's it.
Absolutely.
One other thing we did with the sheriff's department is I have to turn my note over, ratification of out-of-state travel to Liberty Hill, Texas. So we have 2 K9 units, Officer Falik and his new master had to go to training so that the former officer who was in charge of Officer Falik, his supervisor, I don't know what the hierarchy is. Maybe Officer Falik is in charge.
I think so. I think
if it's anything like my dog at home,
right.
The dog's in charge.
I'm about to say you have the officer and then the one who drives them around.
and so anyway, the officer who was handling Falik left us, and so a new officer stepped in to take over, and so he has to have training and make sure they know how to communicate
they got to build
with one
like
another,
kinship and bond and everything else.
And it's I did listen to you last hour, and I know you're anti-turtle now, so we won't put any law enforcement turtles on anything just to keep you. I got a kick out of your comments on turtles last hour, and Miss Noble's comments back to you. Turtles are people too.
Yeah, okay.
That was fun. So we did that. We also had one other out-of-state travel request. The one for the sheriff's department was ratified because those classes just happen kind of when they happen.
Right.
And it just so happened there was an opening, and so we were able to put our person in. We want to do that as quickly as possible, but out-of-state travel has to be approved by the commissioners. And unfortunately, the class started before the commission meeting. So I got verbal approval from the chairman, and then we have to ratify. And
formalize it at the meeting.
Right. So fortunately, the other commissioners agreed that they should go, or I guess the chairman would have to pay it. He's the one that stepped out.
So I paying the big bucks.
But no, we did that. We had one other out-of-state travel, which is for our finance director. She's going to attend the National Association of Counties Legislative Conference with Commissioner Perry and myself next month. She's not been to that before, and we want to be sure that our senior leadership within the county understands the fights that we're having on the national level. We have county government, so the most local government that that's the closest to each of us, is our, and then on the national level, we have National Association of Counties where all of our local governments get together and kind of figure out what are the major problems that are coming down on all of us.
Sure.
And it's often the federal government.
Yeah.
And
it's that networking side of the government, basically.
So we want to be sure that our senior leaders, so we'll start including them in some of these trips with us, see how the counties, and not just the counties in New Mexico, but the counties nationwide, are fighting the same battles, the same issues that are coming down from the federal government.
Not just unique to us here in our little patch
and how to deal with those and best keep us on track and keep them out of our business and allow us to do the things we need to do. So,
absolutely. Yeah, that's a good thing. And obviously, we've sung the praises of her with the in various times and financial things that the commissions had to deal with, and she comes through gangbusters.
Let me tell you what happened last week at New Mexico counties.
Yeah.
So Chavez County was given an audit excellence award. It's the 9th one that they've received for having no audit findings, for doing everything right. Your money's in safe hands in Chavez County. Between our commissioners being cautious on how they spend it, assuring that they don't spend their surplus funds that they have, that they keep those for a rainy day, making sure that everything makes sense before they fund it or allow it to be done. And then the auditing side of it, the financial side, nothing happens unless it's right.
You'd be amazed how well things can run when you run your finances properly.
Right. They have checks and balances. They have so many ways to make sure that money is not misused. And we have an auditing firm that comes in, a forensic auditing firm. They dig deep. They try to find anything that's not right or could be a weakness, a material weakness that would allow someone to, steal money or products or whatever. And man, it's a tough thing to get a auditing excellence award through when they're auditing you. And we've got our 9th one. So
everything's got to be so transparent. So
and that also, not only our finance department, but that also includes the treasurer. It also includes procurement, because they all have to work together.
Absolutely.
Although the oversight, we make sure that one person doesn't necessarily oversee the whole thing. Each of the checks and balances is managed through a different way, so that you don't have one person over here
Doesn't give
closing his eyes and letting things happen, or
giving one
being
person too much power or too much ability to manipulate. Here.
So each of those places has their specialized ways of doing things that get reviewed by others, and so that's really good.
I wish other state and federal government was put as much attention to detail on that stuff as, because that's our big problem. I guarantee you'd see all of our numbers change in the state of New Mexico and the federal government if they just did some of what you guys are doing at what the county level.
And it's required.
Yeah.
It's required of them, but somehow they don't seem to care. I mean, we're very honored to get 9 audit excellence awards. They get awards all the time, but last month at the meeting,
do as I say. That's the motto
really
here, and
good.
it destroys us.
I think we're probably close to being out of time.
we're about out of time here.
Okay.
We could probably do something real quick.
Okay, so we
shorter one.
we approved 2 agreements for construction management, if you want to call it that. AIA Architects, American Architects, International Architects, whatever the AIA stands for. I'm sorry, I do know what it is. I'm
the A's architect. We know that.
One of those moments. But architectural agreement with Mirador Enterprises on 2 different projects. They're working on our public health department, and the architects will end up being kind of the management of assuring that project is built. I mean, we have our in-house people as well, but the architectural firm will also assist us in inspecting and making sure that's built appropriately.
They're more experts at it than our people. Let them have the final lookovers to make sure everything's the way it's supposed to be.
So Mirador is building our public health department, and they're also, I'm confident that I'm not going to give you bad information. They're also going to be doing our Pecos Valley Regional Communication Center upgrade. We've been modifying one end of the building so we can move them into a much larger space and allow them to do their job better. And that's a community-wide thing. It's a regional communication center. All the volunteer fire departments, the city fire departments, city police, county sheriff's department, all of us work together through dispatch.
Yeah, if you live in southeast New Mexico, you want that thing working.
Yeah, and we want them to have the best of the best. Absolutely. Again, it's support the blue, back the blue,
Absolutely.
as you said. They're a big part of it as well.
They can't help you unless they have good communication, and that building ensures they have good communication.
And we've been working on it for several years. We have a whole communication system. There's numerous towers that communicate. So you don't have to have line of sight anymore with a police car. Has to be in line of sight with the tower so that you can have the secretary send somebody out like they did in the 1950s,
Sure.
Now, wherever you are in the county, it's going to communicate with the closest tower, and then that tower can communicate with all the other towers. And so if you want to talk to somebody, this is a large county, 6,045 square miles. If you want to communicate with somebody down the Boot Hill, you're not going to have line of sight. So you hit the tower, it finds the right tower and beams it back to that car.
And now they can, use internet and satellite to kind of assist in getting some of that around in the dead spots. So,
right.
It's much better.
We have a very high quality, well thought out system here, and like I say, we're bringing up the quality of the physical location for them now. So thank you, Mike. I know I'm
anytime. We always appreciate it, and anytime you need to get on here for any reason whatsoever, let me know. And of course we'll see you here in I guess about 3 weeks or so.
About 3 weeks.
Yeah, about 3 weeks or so. Right. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Sarah. We'll see you next time.
Appreciate it.
All right, 9 o'clock. You're listening to 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico.
House Speaker Johnson and Senator Cruz are backing Governor Abbott as well. The RNC may be getting aboard the Trump train.
The Republican National Committee is expected to consider a resolution to declare Donald Trump the party's presumptive 2024 nominee, even though only 2 states have voted. A candidate needs 1,215 delegates to formally clinch the nomination. If approved, the measure would further solidify Trump's control of the party operation at a time when Nikki Haley is still competing against Trump for the GOP nomination. Haley raised $1 million after her second place showing in New Hampshire. Calling Haley a bird brain, Trump says that anyone donating to her campaign would be permanently barred from the MAGA camp. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
Prices rose 2.6% last month from 1 year ago. That's a 0.2% increase from November, according to the government. This is the Federal Reserve's go-to gauge of inflation, and the central bank will be holding another of its policy-setting meetings next week. A decline in mortgage rates has given pending home sales a boost, posting their largest monthly increase since back in June of 2020. And watching Wall Street, stocks are higher now. The Dow is up 154 points, NASDAQ ahead 22. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Diabetes Solution Center. Do you like pricking your fingers to test your blood sugar levels? No one does, but it's important to maintain your health. And now, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you don't need to prick your fingers anymore. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now. And if you have Medicare or most major insurance coverage, you may be able to get a new CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. Shipping is free, and we'll even bill your insurance company for you. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn how to end the painful finger sticks and get your own continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
A landmark stone church in downtown New London, Connecticut, has collapsed into a pile of rubble.
Lester Harris had just parked his car Thursday afternoon when the towering gray steeple and part of the roof of New London's First Congregational Church fell in on itself.
I heard this boom sound, and I looked to my left, and there was the church all in one piece, but then it just collapsed right down the middle.
At a news conference, New London Mayor Michael Passero says they believe only one woman was inside, but she was not hurt. The scene was a jumbled pile of stones and shattered timbers, with much of the building still standing. Students from an adjacent dormitory that serves at Connecticut College have been moved to a nearby hotel. Audio courtesy WFSB. I'm Jennifer King.
Strong winds have battered Australia's northeast coast today, leaving thousands without power. But the area has so far been spared heavy damage as the tropical cyclone weakened to a tropical storm. 1 point winds are gusting up to 105 miles per hour. News and analysis, townhall.com. Prosecutors urged jurors to find the mother of a 15-year-old Michigan high school gunman guilty of involuntary manslaughter.
It's believed to be the first case in the nation in which a parent is charged in a mass shooting at a school.
Jennifer Crumbly didn't pull the trigger that day, but she is responsible for those deaths.
Prosecutor Mark Keast says Jennifer Crumbly could have prevented the killings of 4 students at Oxford High School if she had told school officials that her son had a gun like the one he had drawn a picture of in a classroom. Defense attorney Shannon Smith says prosecuting the mother does not serve any purpose.
An effort to make people feel like someone is being held responsible.
Ethan Crumbly was sentenced last month to life in prison. I'm Jackie Quinn.
Closing arguments being heard today in New York City in the defamation case against former President Trump, day after he briefly took the stand in the Manhattan courtroom. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The traveler said, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican world radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 3. Crazy of Mornings with Mike Winters right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Friday. We made it to Friday.
We did it, everybody!
God bless you one and all. We finally got here.
This has been a very long week.
Yeah.
I pointed it out yesterday, and it feels... I've had a lot of... Like, he came in one day when you were sick. And
Roy.
Roy. Sorry, Roy. Came in one day. I forget some people don't watch the camera. But Roy came in, and he's like, it feels like Friday. I'm like, this is the only day you've been here this week. It was Wednesday. He's like, I don't know, it just feels like Friday. You don't get to say that when you have one day a week. I guess technically it would be your Friday.
Yeah.
You go there the next day. But, it took a while to get here.
It did, but we're here.
We are here.
We made it.
It's been a week.
A whole week.
You are that little yodeler at the top of the mountain now. Here, you made it. Stop. Don't fall over the other side. Hey, I know we're supposed to talk about McDonald's this morning, and I invite you to visit any four of your delicious McDonald's here in town.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, 3. Always.
One in Artesia, one in Carlsbad.
Oh, in the Artesia. Don't forget about that one
That's
either.
right.
But,
they are all owned by the Snowburgers.
Yes. So download the app, utilize it with your friend, get the Egg McMuffin OG. Every time I forget how good it is, I eat one. I'm like, that's why it's my favorite.
Right.
And I had one this morning. I was like, maybe I'm wrong. And then I eat it. I'm like, nope, I'm not wrong. This is the best one.
You're not wrong. No,
this is the best one. But I was on the Facebooks a few minutes ago, and I do follow a Facebook page called Remembering Roswell.
Oh, yes.
And a lot of times people put old photos of Roswell up, and I'm a nostalgic guy.
It's fun because it reminds you that our main street used to be a lot more vibrant. There was kind of a a lot of shops and mom and pops places.
You hear
downtown.
a lot of places that were here long before I've been here and things. And well, one of those came up, and I don't know. This one just intrigued me. Apparently, and the date that everyone keeps saying in the comments is I remember it back in 73. So 70 sounds like is the heyday of this place.
Sure.
But there was a picture of this cup with a red crow on it.
Okay.
And it said, Go, Go, Red Crow. And I guess there was a restaurant in the 70s called the Red Crow.
Okay.
And apparently they had really good shakes and some Cokes and things.
It's like a cartoon crow.
Yeah.
With a hat.
It does. It looks a little like a weird Heckle and Jekyll crow.
With a top hat.
Yes. But the thing it gets me, and this is what it's phrasing. I'm a guy of phrasing, and phrasing gets me. That they're showing a picture, and it looks like it's outdoors at the restaurant. And it's got a close up of the Red Crow cup and some Coca-Cola and whatnot. And some old timey looking beverages there. But the cup is it says go, and it's got the picture of the Red Crow, and then it's called Family Eating Center. The Red Crow Family Eating Center.
Yeah, you're right.
I've never heard of a restaurant called the Family Eating Center before.
Come in.
And I don't know how I feel about it.
If you want to eat
Part
your
of me
family.
says, I bet they got a lot of food, like in troughs.
Right.
Because
trough style.
You go there to eat some crow.
Right. But it's just an unusual way to label a place.
I agree. A family eating center.
Yeah.
There's restaurants have to figure out a way to brand themselves differently. And I've heard places call themselves, like it was like a salad bar. They call themselves Salad and Such.
And Such?
Yeah. Salad and Such. That was their standout. I can't speak on the Red Crow, but if I could be that old man yells at cloud for a minute, there's a lot of those places that here in town that a lot of people have some fond memories of, and I've seen a couple of these recently. There was one, and I'm pretty sure this is after you moved here. I could be wrong. Up north by Nimi, where the Days Inn is, there used to be a restaurant that was down a really steep staircase, like inside that building.
And I've heard people talk about
it. Was called The Claim.
Okay.
And it was known as like a
I know
a bar.
you talked about it, but I've heard other people talk about this place too.
That place was amazing. I'm sure they got closed down.
Everyone loves The Claim.
Yeah, they got closed down for a number. I think it was maybe they weren't ADA compliant. There was a couple of things.
In the basement might be part of something to do with that.
Yeah, they didn't have access for people with wheelchairs, but
was it like a speakeasy style?
I think if I remember correctly,
that
it
was
like
kind of the vibe.
Kind of that cave miner style, but like cave miner, not like young people.
That reminds me of something I got to tell you here in a minute.
But all right. But yeah, no, I think it was like that speakeasy style of building. There was another one, and this was within your time, and there's one on either side of 2nd Street. It's called Wally Burger.
I vaguely remember the
Wally
Burgers.
Burger was
I think they were going out as I was coming in.
Spectacular.
Yeah.
That was probably the best burger I have ever had.
Was there one on
Roswell.
2nd?
There was both on 2nd.
Yeah.
There was East and West 2nd.
Yeah, I remember the one on West 2nd.
The one on East 2nd I think lasted longer. The one on West 2nd is now a car dealership.
Yeah. But I remember it being the Wally Burger right around when I first came here. But it wasn't there long. I think I beat it by months.
Yeah, but that was.
I ate my last Wally Burger when I thought they were going out of business, but they hadn't yet.
Yeah.
Now that was the last time.
That was the last time.
But you still had your last Wally Burger.
That's true.
So still the same.
You're like, they didn't go out of business. I never went back though. Wow, that's why they went out of business.
That's the reason they're no longer here.
Well, no, that's a good marketing ploy is to.
But and I'm honest. I'm torn. I kind of dig Family Eating Center.
That's great.
But part of me says I'm not expecting fine dining at a family eating center.
It does, like you said, trough. But I'm thinking of like one of those big foil serving trays full of spaghetti.
Right.
Just.
I'll have some of the yeller. Don't be stingy.
Exactly. Oh, you're right. That's chicken. Plop,
That's
plop.
kind
Want
of
some?
the vibe I'm getting from a place called the Family Eating Center.
I love the concept of a buffet, but I don't think that it's worth it for me to go to a buffet anymore. Just with how my appetite has waned.
I see what you're saying, and deep in the recesses of my brain, I agree with you. But I will not give up the fight.
I refuse to give up my access to everything.
I will tackle that buffet like it is a quest.
Serve me troughs of turnip greens.
You will eat all you can.
I will eat all I
I will get 2 plates, at least.
Your Honor, does this look like a man who ate all he could? I ask you, the
You
jury.
are absolutely right. I am less of a buffeter and all that than I was in my youth. However, I refuse to say I am not worthy of the buffet anymore.
No,
I'm going to keep
I'll
fighting.
still go. It's one of those like.
I will fight to get my money's worth.
Either way, I'm gonna leave feeling bad about myself.
Well,
Either I
that's
ate
just
way
it.
too much, or
And this is my own. I probably need to talk to a psychiatrist about this, but that's my own thing. It's like challenge. I legit walk in there. I'm like, oh, if you're gonna let me eat all I can eat, I must accept it, and I must walk out of here overly full.
have you ever been to one that if you don't clean your plate, they charge you?
No.
There was one I went to in Albuquerque that if you didn't finish everything on your plate, they would charge you $1.50 for that plate.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a whole thing.
I bet they ended up with a lot of food and stuffed in vases and crap at the restaurant.
A lot of full persons
Right.
left the restaurant
Yeah,
that
I was gonna
afternoon.
say, the seat cushions filled with sloppy Joe. What's going on there?
It was a Chinese restaurant. It was all wontons
Yeah,
and shrimp and
cats.
stuff. Yeah, right.
You know what?
I laugh so hard that when I see it on Facebook or Twitter every once in a while, and it's always for an Asian restaurant, and it says, "We don't serve cat. Come try the chicken. It's perfect." Makes me laugh every time.
I mean, you got to lean in. Yeah, well played.
I mean, working as a dishwasher in Golden Corral, I can see why they would charge for for wasted food.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Well,
sugar
yeah,
all over.
but if you're that person, you deserve to be punched. Like if you fill up your thing and eat like one thing and then go back for more, you're the reason why people hate
right.
this whole concept.
You get a whole chicken and you don't even eat it.
And that's why I like the idea of there's a place in Vegas, I think it's called Wicked Spoon, and everything, I've talked about it before, everything is bite size. So you get a chance to try a little bit of everything. Go
And
back
it's not
if
as
you like
waste.
it.
Yeah, you try a bite and realize, oh, that wasn't good chicken. You don't get another bite.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And I get it. You try something, you didn't like it. I get it. That's the thing. But when the whole plate is that, maybe you should
Right.
stop getting plates.
Yeah, if you're not going to eat it, don't get it.
But that's my dad's style of buffets because he always, and I used to, you can come back, right? Like you can get other plates, but he always tried to build his plates structurally sound like he was at Thanksgiving loading up.
Right. Well, it's why the buffet is so loved at its core.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't care what anybody says. I think this is the reason. It's because it's the one meal where you get to pick multiple main things.
Mm-hmm.
And multiple, you're like, do I want chicken? Do I want beef? Do I want pasta? I want it all.
Mm-hmm.
And they put a spoonful of beef, a spoonful of pasta, a spoonful of chicken, a spoonful of fish, a spoonful, you know what I mean?
I
and you're
argue-
like, oh, I got to get something veggie. Here's some green beans. And then you throw it on there.
Exactly. Yeah, just enough green.
yeah. You get to make your own combination of foods.
And that's the beauty of the buffet.
Right.
There's nobody saying, oh, you must eat meatloaf with mashed potatoes. If I want to.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. I argued that the buffet was the first ever fusion cuisine. That they're the first people who were like, you know what? Yeah, slap some ice cream on top of those mashed taters. Let's go down that avenue.
Yeah.
You can put chili on top of your mac and cheese.
If you want to.
On top of your salad.
How do you think chili mac got invented?
There you go. They have a whole chocolate fountain. You could coat a steak in chocolate. Just saying. It's like a mole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
doesn't mean you should.
No.
Where else can I have a soft serve ice cream cone at 8:30 in the morning? But at a Golden Corral buffet.
Mm-hmm. It's the American way.
That's America, Jack.
That's right. That's America.
and I will fight for that freedom.
I'm surprised because as popular as Western cuisine is in Asian countries, like they have like American style restaurants and stuff. I'm surprised Golden Corral doesn't have a bigger presence in Asia. Just given the fact that they're so obsessed with Western cuisine. And I feel like that's the epitome of here's America is a Golden Corral
I'm smelling
buffet.
an opportunity, Sean. Maybe you should be the first to open a Golden Corral.
Can I just say konnichiwa?
In Japan or whatever.
I think Asia's more infatuated with the opposite direction, actually. The quote-unquote white people food, where it's just like minimal vegetables and snacks in a like they're actually infatuated with that.
And I've seen
culture.
a lot of that too, but they get obsessed with like American style food. Like they have whole restaurants that do just like spaghetti and meatballs and like cheese pizza and the weirdest looking hamburgers you've ever seen. Yeah, exactly. It's American Italian. And like the weirdest hamburgers you've ever seen though.
Yeah.
French fries, those come from France.
I don't think they do.
No, it's just the style of
Yeah, I don't think they don't know anything about French fries in France. Or French toast, for that matter.
They know about French frog legs. Have we driven away all our French audience? Okay, cool.
So
let's just not eat weird duck and surrendering.
So, what about minors again?
Oh, the minor thing. So a couple days ago, our guest is not here, I'm assuming.
I have not.
I haven't heard anybody come in. So we're supposed to have the sheriff's department join us here. We'll see if they make it. They get busy sometimes and can't make it. But so I was listening to our radio station a few days ago. And it was one of those moments where I got in the car and turned it on, and it was in the middle of a commercial. And it was one of these PSA commercials and I don't remember what it was, but it was talking about safety. And they said something about minor safeties and minors, and I thought they were talking about kids. And at the end of the ad, they were actually talking about miners, as in people that break rock in holes, and talking about safety in mines. And I'm like, for the first half, I'm like, it's a weird commercial about miners. And then
you're miners.
I literally turned on the commercial app, so I missed the beginning of the commercial.
Right.
So I was like, I was like,
when do they start talking about seatbelts?
And then it dawned on me, the miners they were referring to were not children. They were talking about people that work in mines.
I love a commercial that takes a good turn, and PSAs are notorious for that. Especially like TV PSAs. We've talked about them so many times, but Canadian PSAs are the best because like the ones where it's like, I should have seen it coming. There's one where there's a woman who's a chef in a restaurant, and she's like carrying this gigantic pot of like boiling water or sauce or something, and she's like, "But I should have seen the oil on the floor, and somebody really should have turned that." And she slips on it, and boiling it just shows her skin melting off.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a turn. It's a real turn.
See, that's where the rest of the world needs to learn, where America has learned. what makes American cinema so great is we don't always show you the thing.
Right.
We just give you the impression of the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what makes the horror movies. And so you guys got to learn that in your PSAs.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to show us the thing. You just got to interpret us to know what the thing is.
Admittedly, it makes them so much better. There's one from Great Britain where there's like these kids playing football, and the ball goes over the fence and into this like electric like transformer essentially.
Right.
And this kid's like, "Oh, I'll get the ball," and he runs over and he grabs what he thinks is the ball, but it's like one of those like ball shaped and it just shows him just like shooting back like 15 feet. And his skin is fried.
Why do I got the image of the Marley and Me clip?
Mac with the
alien.
Mac and Me.
Mac and Me.
Sorry, not Marley.
Marley.
Mac and Me. That's a dog.
Oh, you just evoked so much sadness.
You mentioned wrestling.
I did.
Or you said wrestling.
Did he? Did he though? Okay, go ahead.
He did. I did hear it.
I did at one point. I don't know when. But yeah.
You said the wrestling world, but
okay.
But that reminds me. This past Wednesday, they had a wrestling show in Savannah, Georgia.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I
pointed this out.
The bananas.
Yeah,
Bananas
they were
in
actually
the audience.
ringside.
Ringside, yeah. They got more screen time than the women in the match.
Well, they're big as they're as big as thespians as the wrestlers are. Really, you know, if you ever watch a Savannah Bananas thing,
they were there just taking notes.
That's right. They're like they're probably working their next storylines.
Figuring out theatrics.
They're stealing each other's storylines.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Bananas.
That's
Have
awesome.
you seen some of their stuff?
If it's like theatrical, that's awesome.
They get a little like one of their deals was they did a Braveheart entrance to one of the one of the games. And they all just come, you know, where the pitcher usually comes out, you know, like from the bullpen kind of thing. The whole dang team come running out in kilts and banana jerseys, doing the Braveheart painted up in the blue. Start running, you know, that's what they do. Yeah, it's pretty fun.
That's awesome.
Could be a wedding. You know what I mean, I hope I get tickets. I'm in the lottery. I'm like,
you've got like 16 people in that lottery. I'd say your chances are pretty good.
I better.
You have like an office pool.
Well, we've got a collective group of family that all want to go. I bananaized them.
You've bananaized?
Like my niece, my Cameron, my niece. She's quite a good golfer and athlete, but she is a huge bananas fan, and she got a bananas hat for Christmas, and it was the best gift. She was so excited about a Savannah Bananas hat.
Nice.
And she loves it, and so I've got everybody on the Savannah Bananas now in my family. They're all and since they're coming to Albuquerque, I told them, I was like, get in the lottery, get in line. So we're hoping between the one of us we get enough tickets where we all go to the game.
I'm sorry, but you know, in her head, she was like, "Come on, Stanley Tumbler! Come on, Stanley Tumbler! Come on, a bananas hat!
No,
Yay!"
She is amazingly like I've never seen a girl that age get so into stats and studying.
That's awesome.
She loves. Like, she'll go, like, visit Grandma and Grandpa, and she'll go into Grandpa's office, get on the computer, and just studying golf stats, baseball stats.
Really?
All of that stuff.
She's going to be a money baller.
And she's good at golf. Like I don't know if she's like Tiger Woods good, but for a girl her age, she's way better at golf than most girls her age.
That's impressive that she's sunk that much of her time and energy.
And she loves sports. It's to see like her sister who's 16 and hitting that teenager age, and she's atypical. She's very smart, does very well, but she's one of those ones that's very popular and you know, dates the quarterback, and you know, I mean, she's got where her younger sister is way more like you and I, where we think and the way we think. You know, we're not going to be the one hanging out with the beautiful people,
right?
We're the ones that are going to make you think, and she's impressing me with some of the things that she's into. I'm just like, wow. You're doing things that feel like way above what you'd be into at a girl your age.
And that's
you know what I mean?
that's really going to pay off for her down the line, especially if she sticks with, you know, her sport.
But yeah, she loves the Savannah Bananas, loves everything about it.
I wonder how you get a job doing that, though. Like, do you need a degree in
go to
something?
School? Yes. Depending on what you want to do.
For like
statistics, sports statistics?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to need like a degree in probably statistical analysis of some type. Yeah. You're going to need to take
and see, now sports has gone into analytics.
Statistics.
Sports has gone big and so yes, college degrees, like, you know the movie Moneyball?
I've heard of it.
Yeah.
Okay. That is the way of the future. You want to know what you're talking about? Watch Moneyball.
Yeah, and that's why I was saying she's going to be a Moneyball. She's a Moneyballer.
And so sports, all those sports is kind of going that Moneyball style. Analytics. I'm sure you've heard, especially in the NFL, talking about people. They brought in their analytics guy.
Yeah.
And they're literally the people that study these numbers and say, based on what you do here, you should sign this guy, even though he's not a first-round pick, but in your system, he's going to be a better player than if he's in that thing. And that's where the analytics come in. So, yes, there is a thing, and yes, you probably need to go to college and study not only sports, but statistics and math and all that stuff.
Well, let me put it in Roy. If you even look at like the Rumble, there's a whole sect of fans that specifically go off of statistics. Like I was even quoting one to you earlier. The number 27 entrance spot used to be the most common winning spot. You know, but now it's number 30 in the modern age. So these stats are like something that the legitimate people like keep track of and analyze. And yeah, there's definitely a modicum of education involved.
Yeah. But yes, your answer is yes, and I probably study math, doing that stuff because it's all math. They're basically crunching the numbers and taking all these stats that they compile on these people, and they're finding patterns and trends and things. And so, and the Moneyball movie really kind of puts it in a layman's terms, you know, with the bean thing, because that was kind of the Oakland A's were kind of the first to kind of introduce.
I don't know why I thought you needed like manager experience or sports experience.
Well, and that's just it.
Well,
Yes, it helps. The cocktail of both is what's working.
Right.
And that's what the NFL's doing now is you're getting the NFL guys, but then they're bringing analytics guys that are really looking. And that's why certain players, like I guarantee Baker Mayfield in Tampa and the success he's happened, somebody ran some analytics down there and said Baker Mayfield's the guy. And that's what's going on. I guarantee analytics came into play and seeing what Baker Mayfield did in Tampa and how he's had a good year and will end up being the starting quarterback for at least the start of next season for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So, and I would almost guarantee analytics was coming into play on that decision. So anyway, it's 9:28. I don't have a guest. Let's do this. Let's do weather. Quick break. I might try to do a short interview. I don't know. I got to look. But let's get you up to date on the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Some clouds and maybe a shower early today, but we get sunshine back by afternoon with that low-pressure system heading out of our area. Mid-50s on our temperature today. Overnight, some lingering clouds and low 30s, and then our weekend looks pretty good. We'll be in the upper 50s for the high on Saturday with sunshine. Clear for Saturday night, warming into the low 60s and sunny on Sunday. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton, and that's your latest forecast.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 48 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 68%. Winds are calm at the moment. We do have a 30% chance of rain today. The sweet spot for rain between 11 a.m. and 2 p.m., so around lunch hours, early afternoon here. Partly cloudy otherwise with a high of 54 today. Winds will be out of the north 10 to 20 miles per hour, so there's going to be a little breezy this afternoon. Partly cloudy tonight with an overnight low of 30 degrees. Winds will be out of the northwest at around 10 miles per hour. Saturday, sunny, high of 56. Winds out of the north at around 5 miles per hour. Saturday night, clear skies, overnight low of 39 degrees. South winds at around 5 miles per hour. Sunday, we're looking at sunny skies and a high of 62. Winds out of the west, 5 to 10. Sunday night, mostly clear with an overnight low of 31 degrees. And looking like warming up for next week. Mid-60s for Monday and Tuesday, upper 60s for Wednesday, and then we're going to be in the low 70s by Thursday of next week. So looks like a warmer week ahead for us. All right, quick commercial break, and then about 3-minute break here, and then I'll come back and probably have a quick interview to play for us here. So quick break, we'll be back. Don't go away.
Score a touchdown at your next tailgate with La Poblanita Party Tostadas. The perfect chip with the most satisfying crunch in the game. Flavored just right with El Charro's signature seasoning. It's the dippable chip that bites back. Make game night a winner with the chips everybody talks about. The chips that make bland salsas better and good salsas great. Snag a bag of La Poblanita Party Tostadas at your local grocery stores all over southeastern New Mexico. And get the party started with La Poblanita Party Tostadas by El Charro. They're all that and a bag of chips.
Ed Safety and Services, LLC in Artesia, New Mexico has an immediate opening for roustabout crew and a safety technician. Position requires a clean driving record and must be able to pass a drug and alcohol screening. Ed Safety offers great pay with IRA benefits and employer contribution towards health benefits. Please email resumes to edgecoding@yahoo.com or apply in person at 2801 North Freeman in Artesia. Ed Safety and Services is an equal opportunity employer.
It takes a long time to develop trust. At LaGrone Funeral Chapel, they've been earning your trust for decades. They understand how important it is to friends and family to celebrate a life in the way you choose. The professionals at LaGrone will ease your stress and anxieties. They'll provide the guidance you need to select a service that's appropriate. And that's what they've been doing for generations, earning your trust and doing the right thing. LaGrone Funeral Chapel and Crematory, 900 South Main in Roswell. Online at LaGroneFuneralChapels.com.
Attention Roswell, Carlsbad, Artesia, and surrounding areas. Roswell Tire and Appliance has what you're looking for with a great selection of refrigerators, freezers, washers and dryers, and ranges, and they can prepare your appliance as well with many models in stock and on sale. You can own it today. RTA services after the sale with repair, warranty, and delivery to Roswell and surrounding areas. Save big on a selection of scratch and dent appliances too, plus a great selection of tires and a team of people to help you when you need it most. Roswell Tire and Appliance, 101 South Main in downtown Roswell.
Bring in the new year at your locally owned and operated Big O Tires. Now through January 28th, instantly save $100 on our exclusive line of Big O brand tires. Plus, take advantage of our Winter Healthy Car Special for just $29.95. Hurry, these savings won't last long. Make an appointment online or visit your local Roswell Big O Tires today. Big O Tires, the team you trust.
Get your tickets now for Red Zone Presents A Night with Jason Witten, coming to Artesia Saturday, April 13th. Jason Witten is an 11-time Pro Bowl selection and 2-time NFL All-Pro with the Dallas Cowboys and is currently head coach at Liberty Christian High School in Argyle, Texas. Jason is one of sports' top leaders on and off the field. Tickets are free, but you must have a ticket to enter. To get your free tickets, contact the Artesia Chamber of Commerce. This invitation courtesy of H.F. Sinclair. Excited about Jason Witten coming to Artesia.
The inventor of Pringles is buried in a Pringles can. I wonder if they got their hands stuck putting him in there. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 34 minutes after 9 o'clock, so guest didn't make it. So I have an interview I had with Drew Garnett and Tamara Schubert from the Chaves County Extension Office. They joined us here about a week ago talking about some of the things they've got going on through 4-H and, of course, their master gardening classes and all that stuff. So it's about a 20-minute interview, so it fits our window pretty good here. So here is Drew and Tamara from the Chaves County Extension Office. Enjoy. Bacon. Good morning. It is 8:41.
There's worse addiction.
There's worse things you can be addicted to, yes. And joining us in studio this morning from the Chaves County Extension Office, Tamara Schubert and Drew Garnett are back with us. Good morning, guys. How are you doing?
Good morning. Doing well.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, which is a busy thing for you guys.
Oh, my gosh. I can't
the
believe
New Year's
we're
hits.
halfway through the first month of the year.
Oh, I know.
What happens when you hit the ground running?
It does. And pretty much every January, the Extension Office does exactly that. With between the gardeners and the healthy eating and healthy living folks here, it gets busy right here at the start of the year. So who wants to start first? Tamara stuff or Drew stuff?
I'll go if you're up
Go
for
ahead.
it.
All right.
I've got a lot going this week. So we just started Master Gardeners. The new course just started this week. And so we have 16 new Master Gardeners that signed up for that. So we're pretty excited about that and where it's going. This week.
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
Once you're like officially a Master Gardener,
Mm-hmm.
can you get like a robe or something? A
robe?
Kind of a robe.
Oh, a robe?
Or something ninja. I don't know, something that
so
looks
that
like
says Master. Yeah,
like
yeah.
you're like a Jedi robe. Maybe?
You do get a sweet name tag.
Okay.
So you can also add it to your resume.
Yeah.
You also are filled with a ton of awesome knowledge, and your garden's going to be one of the best ones on the block.
Or an actual green thumb.
Yeah, yeah. I think it gets
like
replaced as you're going through it. Yeah.
It's just like a glowing green that goes, Master Gardener.
That's it. No, really. Hey, Well, I tell you what, you come out knowing a lot of stuff. It is fantastic information.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm joking, but this is next level. This is really science and the understanding of why plants do what they do, and how to get them to do better than what you want them to do.
Oh, very much. I mean, it's a crash course in all things horticulture, and it really is a fantastic program. And then on top of that, the Master Gardeners, they do so much community outreach and volunteer work. We had about 1,200 hours worth of volunteer hours that went in last year, and so we're only going to go up from there. And so we're pretty excited about it.
Absolutely. And but now's the time for those that have signed up. That's going on.
Yeah, that's already started. If you are interested in it, reach out to our office, reach out to me, and we'll get you on a list. So when the next offering is available, we'll be reaching out to you so that we'll get you signed up for the next one.
Excellent. Now, are the Master Gardeners back in the library every month doing their thing yet, or is that?
So the gardening at the library is started back up this Saturday, and I'm going to be presenting on proper pruning techniques. So right now is the time to be pruning your trees, and so we're going to be getting into that and how to do it correctly. There's a lot of...
it's not like cutting your animal's fingernails, is it?
No,
I get
not
creeped
quite.
out every
not
time
quite.
I do that.
There's no blood involved unless you cut yourself. So in this case, so well, maybe I should add that safety tool handling
You are
as well.
using sharp objects.
Yeah, you are using sharp objects. And so that is going to be Saturday at 10 o'clock at the library. So hope to see you there.
Absolutely.
Because
they're free.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
A wealth of information.
Absolutely free. And another offering that's actually going on, and it's not here in Roswell, but it is in Ruidoso, so it's just a short drive.
You need an excuse to go to Ruidoso.
Yeah,
anyway.
I know. Honestly, I may be taking advantage of this opportunity as well. So this is offered through New Mexico State University, but it's going to be in Ruidoso at the Two Rivers Park on Saturday the 20th at 1 p.m. And if you have ever wondered how to tap a maple tree for syrup, this is your opportunity. You didn't know we could do that here in New Mexico, did you? Well, if you go up to Ruidoso after gardening at the library, I'm probably going to head up there because I've always wanted to learn how to do this. And so I think this is an awesome opportunity.
It is.
Yes. So, again, that's this Saturday, 1 o'clock at the Two Rivers Park in Ruidoso. And so it is going to be an awesome opportunity. If you forget what I just said, don't forget to check our Facebook page. We did post this just recently. So another great opportunity that's going to be going on Saturday.
Trust me, you want to be there for this? It just evoked a childhood memory for me. My grandparents, on my dad's side, they're from upstate New York, Binghamton, New York area. That's where they grew up. That's where my dad grew up. That's where I go in the summers for, visit grandparents and all that. But it's not Vermont, but it's not far from Vermont. And of course, people don't know Vermont's known for their maple syrup. That's one of their, but up in upstate New York, there was a maple syrup farm within a hop, skip, and a jump from where my grandparents lived.
That's awesome.
And we would go up there to buy maple syrup, but you could literally go and see all of that and literally like taste it out the tree almost. It was like,
that's awesome.
It was so cool. And there is no denying, like Aunt Jemima, Ms. Buttersworth, all those you buy in the store, they taste good and all that. I mean, I'm not going to tell you they're gross or not. But when you have like that maple syrup that's come literally from the farm, it's not even remotely the same as your Aunt Jemima and all of that stuff.
Oh, no.
To be honest, it's thinner usually. And so that freaks people out. But the taste and everything, I'm telling you, if you've never had like true maple syrup, out the tree maple syrup, go to Ruidoso on the 20th. Learn it, but if nothing else, see if you can smuggle you a couple gallons of that stuff and take it home with you because it's worth it.
It is. It's going to be awesome. So I'm looking forward to it. And so as soon as I get done with gardening at the library, I'm probably hopping in my truck and heading that way.
Yeah.
I'll be honest.
It is nothing like it. It is so. How people talk about like local honey? We're in the same ballpark here. As far as you just can't beat locally grown syrup or locally. It's
right
just,
there, fresh as can be.
Oh man, so that's a treat, right?
It
there.
is.
So,
it is.
Good deal.
And then,
is this a bad segue to her? We got some more.
No, I'm loaded up. I've got
All
too
right,
much to share.
This might be a bad segue to talk about healthy nutrition, but hold on.
yeah, we'll have to segue into something else before we jump from syrup to healthy nutrition. But
I'm going to say that the stuff coming out of the tree is probably a lot better for you,
what?
than that stuff in the
It's
bottle
so
with the
natural
extra
and
preservatives. I'm just saying.
Preservatives,
but don't drink it a
extra
gallon at a
sugar.
time, or you will be needing her classes more than you think.
So maybe this was the perfect segue. Yeah, we should have held off on this. No, the other thing that I just want to mention is there are a series of conferences that are coming up here in Ruidoso again. And so one is going to be the Cotton Conference, which will be Wednesday the 24th. And then you have the New Mexico Hay Association having their conference and trade show, which is going to be January 24th through the 26th. And really, most of the presentations happen on the 25th and 26th. So if you don't come up until the 25th or 26th, you're perfectly fine. You can show up and just go for one day if that's all you can do. But you get a wealth of information. You get a lot of updates on research that's coming out of universities as well as the private sector. And then you're also going to see new technology that's coming out that's available to you. There's also 5 CEUs, so if you need your CEUs for your pesticide applicator's license, this is a great place to get it. It's also a great place for networking. You really get the university, industry, and all the producers in together, and so that's where a lot of creative juices flow.
Absolutely.
And a lot of ideas come out, and so it really is a great conference.
It's kind of who's who in the industry.
Oh, yeah.
Your top minds, your top ones that execute all of this stuff on a day-to-day basis.
And so if you have questions about anything, if you're wondering about new varieties, new technology, new whatever, come to the conference. It really is a great place to get information, make connections, and really improve your production. And so that is coming up. You also have the crop production conference, which is going to be the following Monday, which would be the 29th and 30th in Ruidoso as well. And so that's another great one. It's well-rounded. It covers almost every crop that grows here in New Mexico.
And another excuse to get more syrup if you run out.
That's true. You could just be tapping from Saturday to Saturday, and really fill up that pan.
Absolutely. But that is it. It just blows me away how much, it's like farming industry and like mechanics. Those two professions have evolved so much.
Oh my gosh!
In my time on Earth, you know what I mean? It's just, in my head, I feel like those are like the two. I mean, sure, there's others. Yeah. There's a cell phone guy that didn't have a job 50 years ago, but I mean, like if you're a farmer in the 50s. And you and they showed up on a farm in 2023. I wonder how lost they would be.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
It's another world.
Yeah.
I mean, just in the time that I was in Florida for 7 years, I felt like I came back and it was a completely different industry and a completely different way of harvesting.
Yeah.
I mean, it so much has changed just in a short period of time, and so those changes are coming and they're happening pretty dang quick.
Yeah, but this is the problems we face because if you look at the big picture, and this is when we're talking about all these textile industries and food, and particularly food industry stuff, there are less and less people globally doing this.
Oh, yeah.
And more people. The demand keeps going up, but the supply of people to produce it is going down. And it doesn't take a math wizard to crunch those numbers. And if we don't fix that, we're going to have a crisis here. And obviously, do everything you can to increase more people in the industry, but you got to figure out a way to make more with less. And that's what we're seeing is, that's why you're seeing farms and buildings and skyrise. These are the things, solutions people are trying to figure out how to feed the world.
Oh, that's
with
it
less
exactly.
people doing it.
That's it exactly. And, you look at the Earth's surface and only 1/3 of the Earth's surface is viable for agriculture. Of that third, only 1/3 of it is viable for crop production. So really 2/3 of the third that is available for agriculture has to go to livestock. So we're looking at 1/9 of the Earth's surface that's viable for crop production. And so next time you're wanting to build a home, remember that when you're looking at a piece of agricultural land that's available for you. And maybe let's look at some spots that aren't agricultural production spots.
Save that for something we can do better with later here.
Yes.
But that being said, the way we're talking, who's to say in another 50 years, you're going to need to add astronaut to your farmer resume. Guess what? We're doing crops on the moon now. We need a farmer on the moon. Who knows where this could take us?
Who knows?
So there is a program out there for kids called Plant the Moon,
Yeah.
where they're actually looking at ways to get.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised. I'm not saying it's going to
NASA
work.
puts it on. And they've looked at research through the kids and through the schools where they have to do, it's almost like a scientific method. They look and see what soil types and what plants and what they have to add and to grow on the moon.
I would not. I mean, you see all those experiments, like when the shuttle program was on the regular, they would always be taking plants and things and see how they react in space. And, can we grow a tomato in space? I don't know. Let's find out. That's all of that's leading to something.
Yeah, they were looking at a lot of hydroponics at one point.
Yeah.
To see about for long-term flights in space. But
Yeah.
It was interesting.
Well, because let's face it, if at the end of the day, and I know we're getting way off topic, but if we want to explore the outer reaches of the galaxy, we got to figure out a way to sustain human life to get there. And one of them is, because it takes years to get these places.
Oh, yeah.
One of them is growing your own food and how you going to live, how you going to do all that.
Producing oxygen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, now that being said, we probably should shift to back to Earth here and talk a little bit about the other side of the extension office for folks that really don't have any interest in getting their hands in the dirt here, where the moon does. But this is the time of year where now your classes for folks with diabetes, your cooking. This is that time of year where all of that's firing back up again.
It is. So it actually kicks off today. So our Prevent T2 program, which is Prevent Type 2 Diabetes. It's a year-long program for those that are at risk for diabetes. It actually kicks off today at 4. So if they haven't signed up, it's not too late.
Come on down. That's right. Get your name tagged, just like the Price is Right. Come on down. And we'll put you up on the Showcase Showdown right there and get you ready with Rod Roddy. But this is a great class because it's designed to obviously educate you and show you how to get a lifestyle of healthy eating without making it seem like you're eating rabbit food all the time. But the other part is you're doing it with people that are kind of in the same boat. They're all learning it together. So when you stumble, you can hold each other accountable. When you succeed, you can cheer each other on. When you're struggling, you can be accountable for each other. Because we all hit the days where it's like, let's go to the gym. It's 3 degrees out. I'm not going to the gym. And then
Come break ice with us in the morning.
Yeah,
Get you working.
Exactly. So that's what I love about this class is not only do you get the resources and the material to succeed, but some of the parts that create hurdles when you're on that path are there to help you navigate those too.
Well, and that is the great thing about having the group like this. And like I said, it's a year-long class. The first 3-4 months we meet every week, and then we kind of taper off to twice a month. And then at the end, we taper off to once a month. And so you get to know the people in your group, and thoughts, ideas, and suggestions are given. So if you're struggling with something, maybe someone else is too. And they've got to, oh, hey, that worked for me, or this works, or try this. And so it's a program that actually, it looks at every aspect of your life, from sleep to stress and everything else, and how that plays a part in your body and your blood sugars.
And I know enough with diabetes, just how it is and the thing with, type 2 diabetes, particularly, it's like how it's treated may not be the same person to person. Like what medicines and what techniques worked with one person may not be as effective for someone else. But so when it comes to like your doctor and your meds and what to take, that's kind of that conversation. But when it comes to the foods you can eat, things like that, that's pretty universal. And while you and your doctor are kind of playing the medicine game to kind of find the right combination, you're going to find that will start balancing itself out when your diet turns into something where you're kind of regulating how many carbs are going in or how much. And so we're knowing when it's too many to back. You'll start seeing those numbers come down. But, that's the one thing that's universal is what you put in, it does impact. Some will be more impacted than others based on a lot of factors. But But that's why this class is so, where you have each other, but you got to stay in concert with the doctors and stuff because, like you said, your body reacts differently to things. And that's what we're learning with this, with diabetes and all that kind of stuff. That's why it's not like 30 years ago they said, you got diabetes, take some insulin. It's not like that anymore. There's many different levels of all that stuff. So.
Yeah, there's lots of things they can do, and that's the great thing is they have a lesson each week, and it does give them some insight as to it's not all about the food we eat, how we exercise and how much sleep we get, and all of that plays a part in our blood sugars and stuff.
Yeah. Your body is like look like a barometer or a thermometer, or something that you're measuring something with. It reacts to the environment it's in and what you do to it, and these are the indicators that are telling you, hey, you need to do this or you need to stop doing this. So that's kind of, but that's what this class shows you. And the other part is, yes, it's a healthy thing and all that, but kind of getting back to what you're saying before, it's as much a social group as it is a health group, if that makes sense. Because at the end of the day, now you got some friends. Oh, by the way, they're kind of in the same boat. You don't have to worry about where to go for lunch. You all kind of
want to go to the same
You know
place.
what I'm saying? Yeah. You don't have that where you got the one that wants to go to McDonald's. You're like, it's not my best option for me right now. Can we someplace that has a salad at least? But that's what the great thing about you might. Next thing you know, you got friends that you're having with the rest of your life. So I guess come by. I guess they can call if you have any questions.
They can call. Absolutely. They can call if they've got any questions. And like I said, it kicks off at 4:00 today. And so it's not too late to get involved.
Absolutely. Anything else we want to mention?
So 4-H open enrollment's still going on. January's been our busy month. We've got lots of programs kicking off right now. The kids are starting quilting, fibercraft, shooting sports are going on. So open enrollment until the end of March. So if they haven't come and seen us about that, it's a great program to get involved in. Lots of options for the kids and lots of community with that.
Oh, yeah. Lots of different ways for your kids to get involved and do things. And believe it or not, there are aspects of 4-H that have nothing to do with farming and ranching. Yeah. So if your child's not into that, don't let that be a deterrent for not being something that 4-H would be a fit for. If they love shooting or they love computers or they love many of these other, maybe they love to cook. Maybe they love to create,
weaving.
Maybe they, they're creators, whether it's wood or crafting or sewing or quilting. There's lots of different ways to create through 4-H. So you don't have to touch a pig or a cow and still be very involved with 4-H.
Yeah.
Come and learn how.
Something for everybody.
Absolutely.
Well, and with that, our extension club trainings are kicking off too. Our first one's going to be February the 1st. And so those topics change every month. And they're typically on the first Thursday. But come join us. Drew's got one in there too. He's going to do something on pruning rose bushes, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe news to him right now. But
well, we'll add that to the calendar.
Get rid of the thorns. I think that's step one. But absolutely, there's lots to do. And again, looking to meet people, make friends. Those are just as much social clubs as they are activity clubs here.
Absolutely.
So please come by the extension office on Chisholm there, 202 200 East Chisholm.
Yep.
Or call. What's the phone number?
622-3210.
Excellent. And don't forget, it's under New Mexico State University, but the Chaves County Extension Office also has Facebook.
Absolutely.
You can shoot messages or ask questions through there. And don't forget, come out to the library on Saturday for the next Master Gardener class here on pruning, tree pruning for the winter. What time is that again on Saturday?
So Saturday at the library, gardening at the library is at 10 o'clock.
10 a.m.
And then if you want to learn to tap maple trees, Ruidoso at 1 o'clock.
That's right. Bring your own bucket. Just kidding. They'll have,
I don't know, maybe.
They might have their own jug. So thank you guys, and we'll see you here next time.
Appreciate you, Mike.
Thank you. All right, you're listening to 106.5 Roswell Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico. News and
Now for your Pecos Valley News Update, I'm Jared Cirillo. A Hobbs man is identified as the victim of a deadly crash near the state line. New Mexico State Police say the crash happened about 5:30 in the morning Thursday on Nadine Road, just south of Hobbs. 38-year-old Carlos Camacho Rosas was reportedly headed west when his vehicle veered off the roadway and flipped at least once. Camacho Rosas was thrown from the vehicle. He was rushed to an area hospital but died. The teenager charged in the Walmart shooting in Roswell last October will go on trial in September instead of July, as originally scheduled. 18-year-old Joshua Ray Martinez appeared in Roswell District Court Thursday. He's charged with murder and unlawful carrying of a gun in the death of 19-year-old Steve Soltero. The two had a verbal fight inside the Walmart store involving Soltero's girlfriend, 22-year-old Zaylene Thyberg. The store's surveillance video showed the entire ordeal unfold. Thyberg first tried to punch Martinez, who worked at the store. Martinez then followed Soltero, pulled a gun, and opened fire, killing him. Thyberg was also arrested for tampering with evidence because the surveillance video, police said, showed her trying to remove a gun from Soltero's hand after he had been shot. You're up to date. I'm Jared Cirillo.
Your morning espresso starts right here. It's the Sean Hannity Morning Minute.
The buck should stop with Joe Biden. These are Joe Biden's policies. They're the people that have been lying about it. Mayorkas has lied about it. Karine Jean-Pierre, circle back Jen Psaki, the border czar, Vice President Harris. They've all been lying about it. His borders closed, the borders secured. Now they're admitting, oh, it's been a problem for 10 years. We didn't cause it, though, and Republicans only want it for a political issue. Kamala Harris actually made that remark. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. 10 million unvetted illegal immigrants since Joe Biden's been president, and he inherited the most secure border in the history of this country. And then you want to turn around and you want to blame Republicans?
The Sean Hannity Show from coast to coast later today.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason. The Federal Reserve's preferred gauge of inflation shows prices rose 0.2% last month from the month before. Compared with a year ago, prices increased 2.6%, the same as in the prior month. It's the last major inflation report before the Fed's meeting next week, where most economists expect the central bank to leave its benchmark lending rate alone for the 4th straight time. Intel tumbled 10% in pre-market trading, dragging the entire chip-making sector down after issuing a weak first-quarter forecast. The California-based company's sales guidance also came in lower than expected. Markets have been buoyed recently by strong economic data, which, along with receding inflation, makes it appear increasingly likely that the U.S. can pull off a so-called soft landing. That is, taming inflation without causing the economy to tip into recession. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason.
Your home for Coast to Coast AM in Roswell, 106.5, Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico.
With details. The community is overwhelmed by a flood of illegal aliens and drugs. Texas Governor Greg Abbott says President Biden has failed his constitutional responsibility of securing the border and enforcing the law, so Texas has to do so. 25 states have rallied to Abbott's side, in addition to former President Trump and other Republicans like House Speaker Mike Johnson and Senator Ted Cruz. Ken Lorman reporting.
The Federal Reserve's preferred inflation gauge cooled further last month, even as the economy kept growing briskly. That report showing that Prices rose just 0.2% from November to December, a pace consistent with pre-pandemic levels and just barely above the Fed's 2% annual target, and 2.6% from a year earlier. Also at townhall.com, Yemen's Houthi rebels have launched a missile at a U.S. warship patrolling the Gulf of Aden, forcing it to shoot down that projectile. The attack on the USS Carney marks the latest by the rebels amid their campaign against ships traveling through the Red Sea and surrounding waters. A Russian court extending the detention of an American journalist accused of espionage.
Russian news agencies are reporting that Wall Street Journal reporter Evan Gershkovich will be detained at least until the end of March. Today's hearing took place behind closed doors.
That's correspondent Donna Warder, the U.S. government declaring Gershkovich to be wrongfully detained. The Dow had 126 points. The NASDAQ is now up 13. More at townhall.com.
The new FedNow system is paving the way for the digital dollar. It grants the government unprecedented access to your financial transactions. This isn't just an invasion of privacy. It's a direct assault on your liberty and hard-earned money. It's another reason why I recommend physical gold IRAs from the Birch Gold Group. I'm Lance Wallnow. I'm a news analyst and a podcaster with nearly 25 million downloads to people just like you who cherish their financial independence. A precious metals IRA can help you avoid the scrutiny of Big Brother while also preserving your retirement savings through almost anything, including economic crashes, political instability, and even hyperinflation. To find out more, get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word FAITH to 989898. Birch Gold Group is the only gold company I trust. Get their free info kit and see how a gold IRA can help you. Text FAITH to 989898. Remember, there's no strings attached. Text FAITH to the number 9898.